Nope, just now we are. Hello, we're here. I'm here with Busker. This is an evening stream for all of you insomnians out there, like I became today when I woke up around midnight. I don't know if you heard any of that because the music was playing. Anyway, we were talking about bird flu. Oh, and we
It's
have look at
repeating now.
that, oh, Chris. Yeah, we were talking about bird flu, like if there's a next, because bird flu's been around for like half my life, it seems like, and but if there's like a next virus or medical situation, globally.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you guys a PDF that it's an interesting read to say the least. I think everyone should read it, but I'll put it in the private chat. It's a link to a PDF, and it's kind of disgusting, but it's not like pornographic. No, it has to do with bad things, with the jab rapper do.
Chris, what's up? How are you?
Not much. I just woke up a little while ago. I just woke up and made a
Oh,
little
you're
video.
some up. Hang on. Your sound is really bad. You're not coming in well at all.
Okay, let me see if I can fix it.
It might be the distance from the microphone or something. It's just like
Yeah, it could be. I don't
garbled
know.
together.
The same mic set I had earlier. I don't know why it's different now. I'll switch to headphones if I have to.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Were you sleeping or?
I was, but I just woke up like 30 minutes ago, like really wide awake. And
Yeah, same here. That's why I threw this up. So if I'm gonna be up all night, I'm not doing it
I had
alone.
on like I had on like a Adult Swim was like playing like a 24-hour Space Ghost marathon on their channel, and I woke up and like saw that clip, and I was like, that's perfect for kicking people off stream. So like kind of like you can add it as one of those little clips in the back end
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just um, it's the copyright thing, but
It's only
I'll
6 seconds long, so that should defeat the because it's copyright should only kick in for 7 seconds.
where'd you hear that from?
That's what it said on YouTube's website.
Oh, if it's under 6, like anything under 6,
Any under 7, it needs to be under 7 seconds.
Oh, well, yeah. Anyway, I'll research all that, verify it, look into it, and see.
Yeah.
But it is cool. Hey, Bex, welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. Nice to see you, Jeff, Chris, and Be More Busker.
How's
It's a
it
pleasure to
going?
be here.
Hi, Bex.
Good. I literally just finished watching your stream from today. Like timing is impeccable. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. It was a great stream. Wonderful conversations. Lots of laughs. Good.
I thought so. I didn't see a lot of drama on it. People kept talking about
an
drama,
appropriate
like
level
this.
of drama. It was
Yeah,
appropriate.
it wasn't like we've had way more drama on past streams than anything.
Well, and I just mean like when Chuck reacted, for instance, to the Ribby or to the comment about his, just a joke about the daughter, right? That is, it's a beautiful thing to see a father love his daughter like that. Like I'm just, it's appropriate level of drama.
Yeah,
that you know what I mean?
To me, that did cross the line, but I also know Chuck is perfectly capable of handling himself. So,
well, and he would, So the ribbing, I would call it ribbing each other, and I don't know when that became trolling. Why did human behavior just
it was risky. The ribbing was risky because they had already kind of confirmed their opinion of each other, and so it wasn't like playful teasing with friends. They were already in an antagonistic relationship at that point.
Mm-hmm. But I also
so
think that
it was risky ribbing, but the consequences played out to me between adults.
Exactly. And sometimes, the way people gain respect for one another over time when you have big differences is actually through humor and
And
prodding and
sometimes
things like that, right? So I felt like I really saw camaraderie. Um, I really enjoyed it. I actually was going to start making some notes. I was going to write you a comment,
oh,
but I didn't go that far. So
wow. Well, thanks. I sure appreciate it.
I was trying to remember the joke that you said. You made a joke at one point. It was really funny,
Oh,
and it was just the timing of the panel didn't hear it, but I did. It was yeah.
oh. If
It
I ever
landed.
make a joke, it's completely accidental. I don't consider myself funny at all.
Ironically, that's how I spent most of my life too. I mean, I wouldn't say I just say I think I'm a little more George Carlin-esque in the way my humor comes out in person. It's more an absurd truth that makes people laugh.
Yeah, I heard that
hopefully.
you're a stand-up, Bexx. Is that true?
Amateur stand-up comedy, although once you've been paid for a show or two, as soon as you get paid, you're kind of considered professional. So
Sure, yeah.
I was paid several times, like $40 to do a 7-minute set. Best money
So
I've
that
ever made.
oh, so you're a professional comic.
Yeah, kind of. But I live on an island, a big island, the 43rd largest island in the world. But it's Canada, so it's low population. So you don't really go anywhere. I'm kind of in the biggest city on the island, and that in comparison to Canadian or American cities would be considered not a city, likely. I mean, the greater Victoria area, I think, is close to 250,000 people, but that's really a broad reach. Like, I mean, we're talking many, many municipalities, So it's, I live in about 100,000, a city that more would be
Oh
about
yeah, that's a
100,000.
nice size for a city.
Yeah.
That's about what I
I've been
live in.
I've been daring myself to try to do stand-up for a long time, and I've never gotten the guts to do it.
They have a
Please go ahead.
we could do like a open. We've been talking about doing an open mic. We could do that anytime. They have a improv place like a block from my house. That's always they have these like improv nights, and you could just go in. And
We have
I'm
those here in
tempted to
Dallas.
walk down there, but like this is what's stopping me. Like they have one night of the week where black people get in free or get discounts or something, and it's just woke. Like I'm worried if I go in there and I'm not free enough to improvise, because if I improvise the wrong thing, then all the woke bullshit is going to get kicked up, and that dynamics will start playing out. So that's what keeps me. But the opportunity is like right outside my door.
I've worked on most of like really absurd, like very non-political, very absurdist humor, like things for stand-up things. It probably wouldn't go over that well because I don't know. I'm a big fan of almost like anti-humor comics, like Kristen Shaw's stuff and like some stuff like that, like where like it's just like it's not really like out. It's
Was
not,
the
like,
curse anti-humor?
Yeah, kind of like that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
I really enjoyed that.
That's the kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Especially the ending. Oh my god!
I can tell you about stand-up comedy is it's predominantly male. Like typically there's probably 19 out of 20 comics, if not more. I'm just saying in terms of what you guys have created here. It's that it just fits the model. The majority neurodivergence, extremely sensitive people. They mask it well. They tend to be quite intelligent. So the room is very welcoming, even if most people are way too nervous to actually welcome each other. It's a bit of a nerve frying experience. I know a lot of people get on stage and people think people look smooth and polished. But most comedians are like literally anxiously dying up there, right? So if any of those things are things that you feel are barriers to entry, because those are things that you'd feel, you'll go into a room and be with very like-minded men and women.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I can see that. Like this is the neurodivergent thing. It does seem to be pretty common with stand-ups and
One thing
stuff.
that helped me,
But
because
I don't know. I'm just, and the thing is, I've always loved doing stage performances. Like, I mean, I've done music and stuff for years and stuff. So I shouldn't be that like.
I did
And I used to do
theater.
stand-up bits on stage doing music, and I never had deep fear doing that. I used to do sketch comedy, never had deep fear doing that. But I get really like nervous about doing like actually like just stand up in front of audiences. It's really weird. I don't know why I have that fear. Really.
what you might find comfortable, even though prop comics aren't encouraged in
You guys hear me?
stand-up comedy.
Is it working?
Yeah, I can hear
Is my
you.
mic not working?
No, I can hear you.
Well, we heard you.
Is anyone talking?
Can you hear us?
I feel like you're
Can
not
you
talking.
hear us? Yeah, we definitely heard you. I was trying to get a line in too.
Okay, yeah, it's not working.
You can't hear us.
You're good.
When you came on, your connection was like your sound was doing something weird to begin with, so it could be that. But one thing that helped me, like I did theater in high school, and that helps me with the stage fright or the nerves or whatever is the understanding that the audience, they're not against you. They want you to succeed. They're there to help you succeed. So it's not a you versus the audience. It's like a collaboration between you and the audience, and most of them are on your side. Most of them want the best performance out of
Great
you
point.
That's
that you
right,
can give,
yeah.
and they're there to help that happen. So I learned to just like let the audience be my friend and work with them.
Yeah, it's like kind of what I noticed when I was busking. I had more fun talking to people than I didn't care if people dropped any money or nothing. But they did a lot, but I just had fun talking to the people. It was just like the communication was just gold. You know.
Yeah, I totally get that. That's what would do it for me too.
I was
When I
gonna
lived in the
say,
French,
oh no, please go ahead.
when I lived in the French Quarter, there was this little bar I hung out at every day, and it was on Bourbon Street, and it had the big wooden doors that split, so they could open the top part and leave the bottom part closed, and it had this big shelf you could sit at with your drink and look
Yeah.
outside. And I would hang out there every day, and all the tourists that would walk down Bourbon Street, I would just chat with them out of this little window as they walked by. And I met so many people that way, and I thought how cool that was.
Oh yeah.
And that's what this stream feels like. I'm like, this feels like hanging out the window of that gay bar on Bourbon Street with the whole world walking by, chatting with me.
Right.
And now I can do it from my bedroom live on stream. Like, isn't technology wonderful? But it's
I
that.
Can you guys
know.
hear me now? Did I get my audio fixed?
Yeah, we could hear you the whole time. Could you hear us? It
No,
seemed like you couldn't
I
hear us.
couldn't hear you guys for a while, but I'm okay. I'm glad it's fixed now. So I don't know
Yeah,
why. I don't know what I did to fix it, but
Your sound quality is excellent, I gotta say. What
yeah.
kind
Well,
of-
My connection's going out.
this headset usually gives really good sound quality, but
what brand
it's
is that?
very finicky. It's a
Yeah.
Jabra. It's from back when I used to work for Amazon. They used to send me these really shitty headsets, and I worked there. So I mean, I worked like 14
Wait,
to
is
15
this
hour
the
days.
improved technology that you just spent all those 2 days working on?
No, I've had this for years.
Oh, okay.
Well, it sounds really good.
Good.
I wonder
Yeah,
how
I mean,
it-
I just brought my desktop back from Texarkana and stuff like that. I'm just using it. It's just hooked up to the TV.
Do you play a guitar or ukulele or any kind of stringed
Guitar.
instrument like that?
Yeah, I
I
play
was gonna
guitar.
say-
I'm not great, but yeah, I play.
I was gonna say that prop comedy isn't the same as stand-up comedy, and it's not encouraged in stand-up comedy. It's considered clowning.
Yeah, no,
in
I
general,
don't do
right?
Like
I was gonna
Gallagher.
say some stand-up comedians, one of the autistic comics that I knew, wrote little riffs with his guitar or his ukulele. I can't remember, but they were fantastic, and he was hilarious, and nobody ever saw him as being spoofy or a prop comic. You might find that actually bringing your guitar on stage with you, and working it into something, even if they riff you, like even if they do riff on you a little bit for bringing it, if you work into what you're doing, you may feel more comfortable just having it on you on stage. It might bring you back to those performing days.
Yeah,
In
like
a way
well,
that
see, I would do serious songs, but then that we would do like sketches in between like the songs and stuff like that. We used to do sketches and do little
Mhm.
stand-up bits in between this, so they were like separate, but they weren't really like the music wasn't usually involved in it. But
Mhm.
I mean, I've thought about doing stuff like that. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Bo Burnham. I think Bo Burnham's probably like the most. I think he's probably like the most genius comedian that's come out of like this generation anyway. I mean, his shows are just like I don't know. They're like almost beyond comedy. Like
Can you put the name
they
in the back chat
transcend.
so I can look it up?
Who?
The
The
name in the
name.
back chat.
Type the
Oh,
name
you never heard
for
of
me.
Bo Burnham before?
I don't know. I'm not very
She's Canadian. Cut her some slack.
I've
Oh,
never
that was
heard
the
of
Bo
joke.
Burnham is like he's one of the most famous ones. That's one of the reasons I like him.
Honestly, I have no idea who he is either. I've seen him a few clips of him that PF Young showed me, but that's beyond my generation. So it's not like things that people think are common in this day and age with so many different
Different interests,
categories
yeah.
and backgrounds that we come from. Like that's what's so cool about the 80s. We had the same movies, same radio stations, everything. So there was like this unified starting point we all had. And nowadays everybody's coming from such different backgrounds, and we don't all have the same shows and stuff anymore. So I barely know Bo Burnham myself.
I've
Are
never
you
heard.
born in the
He's just
70s,
super
Jeff?
famous.
I understand in some circles, but there in this day and age, it's possible for there to be super famous people and other people that have never heard of them. Is my point, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no,
not to
you're
get
not
too
wrong.
caught up on the fact that we don't know who he is, and just continue with what's important about him.
I was born in '79. Was he a actor from the '70s or a comedian?
No, he's actually from the YouTube generation. He's
He's
actually
he's a young,
he-
like a young up and coming
yeah,
comedian.
and
Huh.
he's I mean
He's kind of meta. He like
he's very meta and
deconstructs comedy
he's
as
honestly
he.
rather groundbreaking in terms of like the way he does comedy. Like his last special thing was called his last special isn't the one I actually watched the one he did called Make Happy. Make Happy is a absolutely ingenious. Like every one of his specials was something good though. But he mixed everything from like doing like big production like these rap type songs to doing piano songs and stuff like that. But he also did it in between like kind of bits of other things like that. So like the music was just like one part of his act. It was like I think he is somewhat more famous for his songs maybe than he is for some other things, but he's still very trying to get my I don't want my keyboard suddenly stopped working on here. It was working.
We
you
still
born in
have
the
your
70s,
huh?
Are you born in the 70s?
Yeah, I was born in '70.
Oh, in
Exactly.
70s.
I
See,
was
I knew you went by Gen X Jeff because I knew part of the reason why your name was Gen X Jeff is because you look so young,
Greatest
right? And that
generation in
putting
history, modern
Now,
history.
yeah, but
if I was
I think also that name helps you give your age up a little. I didn't realize you were a couple years older than me. I would put you at least on screen. You know, I would easily put you in your mid 30s.
Oh Lord.
I know,
now
but I think most people might maybe even 40. Not necessarily your communication style. I'm not, implying you're immature. I see the gray in your beard, but I still think that Gen X Jeffs gives people that idea that you're older than you look, whether you knew that or not.
Oh, it's because I think of Gen X Jeff as so young. It was like the rock and roll generation.
right.
It had a very youthful ethos to it. So I think of us as like still the kids or the adolescents of the generations.
Since I was
true.
born
It's
in
true.
'79, am I considered Gen
Yeah,
X?
you are, because it goes from 65 to about 80, 81, 82.
82?
But Chris can tell
Yeah.
you exactly because he's exactly on the end cusp, like the very month that it ends is when he was born.
yeah, I'm technically a millennial by like one day. So
Really?
yeah, I definitely feel more of an affinity for the Gen X
Oh, you're
generation.
so Gen X, but you
Yeah,
have the
I had
millennial like
already
affinity for technology too.
And
Right,
what
yeah.
year is that?
Like
What
81
year you?
ish.
81. April of
Yeah.
81
Yes.
is literally
I
what went
think
That's
they go
where
like
I
like
had.
the actual birth rate
Wow.
cycle, so it ends unevenly.
I'm a hyper analytical, not hyperfixated. So I had already put you at that age, Jeff. I'd been like, well, if he's Gen X, he must be at the cusp of the end. Must be 82, 1982.
He must
Ergo,
be
you're
82. I thought that was
gonna
funny. Like for a second there, I didn't know you were gonna correct yourself. I was like, what?
All I could
Yes, you're
find on YouTube
82.
was a link to the Make Happy album instead of like the video part of it. It's just the audio, but I put that link in the private chat. It gives you
Thank
an
you.
idea.
I saved it. Thank you very much.
Who
for
are
that.
some of the good modern comedians? Like who's everyone's favorite comedians?
Mine's Bo Burnham, Louis C.K., and probably Maria Bamford.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I love Maria Bamford.
Oh
She's
my
funny.
God, that's okay. I'll have to
You
give
don't
her
like
another
her?
chance. I saw she had like her own little show or series for a while on streaming, and I
Yeah.
found her really corny and cringe. I was embarrassed.
I like
for
her. I like her stand up better than her show. Her show is kind of like her show is very meta too, but it was trying to be like this parody of sitcoms, but it was kind of a parody of Curb Your
Because
Enthusiasm.
Lisa
actually, in a
Kudrow
way.
tried in the 2000s and it didn't work
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, but Maria Bamford's much more like, I mean, she literally is neurodivergent as they come to. I mean, she has been in mental asylums like for a long time. She has actually had like nervous breakdowns and been
What
put
did
in
that do
mental
with
hospitals.
neurodivergence? That's mental health.
She's just she has like a lot of neurodivergent issues and stuff like that. She talks about a lot. She's actually a very positive mental health advocate. She does she even like
But is
is
she
a
funny?
spokesperson.
Is she gonna make me laugh?
I mean, she makes me laugh. I think she's hilarious. I think it just depends. It depends on the actual stand-up you see. But like, I mean, I know she has but she also does like some anti-humor kind of stuff that not everyone's gonna find funny. But like, I also like Kristen Shaw a lot. She is also very, her humor
I think
is
this
very,
stream is anti-humor.
yeah, sometimes.
I think
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. There's a lot of humor on your stream. I remember the joke
Well, I'm
you told
against
today.
it.
You're against it. The joke you told today was something about we just don't like you. We like your land. We just don't like you guys, or something. When it came to something
Oh,
about
Canada,
Canadians.
yeah. They
Yeah. That was really funny.
I feel very protective toward the Canadians, so I'm always like trying to take up and defend you guys. And
I remember like the first time I ever
y'all are
heard
like my minority that I've adopted to white knight for.
That's sweet.
the first time I ever heard anybody giving Canadian shit was South Park movie. Blame Canada, blame Canada. You know that? Remember that?
That's
I like
funny.
giving Canada shit, but I generally get along with all Canadians. So it's
I,
a very strange thing.
I don't have anything against Canadians. I think you guys are all awesome. But I do
Like I said,
not
I have no
like.
problem with Canadians, but I like to give Canada shit for some reason. I
I
don't know
don't.
why.
I don't. I don't
It's
like
like
any.
giving the French shit. I think it's because of the French influence of Canada. I think that's what it does it.
Whoa, hang on, that would be me. So
No, that's awesome, man. Because I mean, like, it's diverse.
but until the U.S. can pull off a Big Brother season as good as Canada does, I kind of have to hush my mouth a little bit. They really give good reality.
They give that good reality.
The only Canadian I hate is Justin Trudeau. He can suck a dick.
Yeah, that maid thing wasn't really very funny at all. I mean, calling that that suicide thing called maid, that's not a very funny joke at all.
That's a real thing, right? It's not like a sci-fi or
it's a
an
real
idea somebody's floating. It's an actual thing that somehow made its
actual
way.
thing. It's an actual program that allows people to end their own lives, and they called it maid. Like
medically
we're cleaning up the trash.
Yeah.
Medically assisted something death.
Yeah, it is. It's something. Yeah.
I mean, I could understand certain situations where that might be
Yeah,
needed
dude,
or
but like
Medical
wanted, but
assisted
to try to like
something, yeah.
mainstream it.
like in certain areas in Canada, they're letting people who are just depressed, and that's the reason for their wanting to commit suicide. So they're
That's something visceral, like in me reacts to that, just on a
Yeah, no,
on a
I mean,
human
of
level.
course, our good friend John, he's talked about it a lot. He made that hilarious song. Remember that his Maid song?
Oh yeah. In fact, I'm gonna
That's
try to find it.
that
Maid
song is
song?
so good.
Is it
Yeah,
still
like,
on YouTube?
I think so. Yeah,
You
as
know,
far
Let
as
me
I
try
know,
to
it
find
was
the
on
link.
Sound. It was on
strange.
SoundCloud anyway, not on YouTube.
Oh.
I heard it on SoundCloud. I heard it on SoundCloud. But
It's a
he made a song very similar to. It was a very Bo Burnham-esque song
No,
about
apparently it
maids.
is. I'm gonna drop the link. In fact, oh wait, it's never mind. This is something else.
I noticed too in the King's review of your stream yesterday, there was one part where he said I was laughing at something he'd said, and he felt like, see, she's laughing at me, and I was actually laughing. All of us were talking at once quite often, and I was, the voices we pick up, I was again laughing at something you'd said at that time. So I really appreciate when Stephen reviews streams, because you have that opportunity. I mean, anyone can go back and review, but somebody pausing and talking about things, gives you the opportunity to hear the other voices you weren't tuned into when you were on the panel.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then you
I've
get to
noticed
see that
that.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
like to like review streams definitely. That
Like
I
on
wish I
your
had more
stream,
time. I
like
wish I had more
reaction.
time
my
to.
channel.
I
Yeah.
find Steven's analyses very helpful. A lot of people find like can't get past the kind of the hateful trollish rhetoric, but I think some of it's funny and entertaining. But aside from that, exactly what you just said, Bex. I think what people see as hate speech or hateful rhetoric or whatever, if you can separate that from the analysis itself, I don't know if you understand how useful that is to people like me that
Well,
struggle
and
with
same,
interpreting. So
same.
to have somebody break it down like that is so helpful to me. And we don't
Well,
get
and
a
I
lot of
think you're,
feedback on our streams. So this
yeah.
is a person that watches our streams and then gives very detailed commentary in reaction to it. And that is
Yeah.
helpful.
And then I
It
think
is.
you're
It is
also
helpful.
critical enough to see where you see his perspective, but you may also see something or hear something that he missed because 7 people were talking
Yeah.
at the same
Oh
time,
yeah.
you know?
I
So
I don't agree with
I just
everything he
want,
says, but it's interesting to see it from one person's perspective.
well,
I
and what
can
I
make
really
the
like, yeah,
corrections I need to make from there.
what I really liked about it was because he and I were both on that panel. And as he stopped it and reviewed it and said, see what she heard, see, and so he had assumed that I'd heard him and I hadn't. I had heard you. I'm just using that one instant as I'm not defending anything. I'm just saying, in that one instant,
Yeah.
it also gives you that opportunity to see how quickly, how easily our perspectives are just our independent perspectives, and what we pick up, what we hear, what resonates with us, it literally, we're all obviously experiencing things differently, but
Yeah.
but it gives you that opportunity to see how, oh, we're on the same panel, we're all talking at the same time, oh, you only heard one person, I only heard one person, and it just really adds to me that understanding of misunderstandings, of laughter, of just how through the chaos, each person still experiences their own thing and goes away with that perspective, so yeah, I appreciate it.
I like
Definitely.
leaving
Anyway.
panels on good terms with everybody. Like
Me
I've
too.
had disagreements, but like that, it doesn't. I try to. You only live once, so I'll try and keep as many friends as I can.
I agree with you completely. I really I get tired of the blood sports type of mentality. I really do. It gets very old to me after a while. I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, it's just not. After a while, because it always evolves into ad hominems, and
And for me, we are like there's other places for that do that well. We are capable of something so different from that, and so
yeah.
to that's not our strongest genre. Although I do think we do it kind of well when we do it. But so for me, it's just like a waste of potential. Yeah, we can do blood sports, but we could also be doing this other stuff that I think is so much better. Like
You
it
know
has
what
so
I
much.
thought was cool? What really I noticed first about your show is like you started it off with this kind of like synth music that sounded so 80s and cool. Like that was so
All
cool.
the music on this show is Chris originals.
Really? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
some good stuff, right? That was really definitely I liked it.
Yeah, those are all old songs, but I did make them all.
It makes me a little nostalgic for those synth days.
The synthwave days. Yeah, I've been listening to synth music like all week from the 80s. I'm stuck in an 80s loop right now.
Friend of mine sent me for my birthday. Sent me this bottle of whiskey.
Oh, you lucker!
Very nice.
What brand is that?
Well, I mean, normally I hate Jack Daniels, but this is like the only Jack Daniels I like. It's their single barrel, single malt, single
I gotta
barrel.
try that one day, but not.
Dude, it's
for a
so
very
good.
long
It's like the
time.
only whiskey I can just drink straight. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. I was
Is that what you plan on doing?
I'm just gonna take like a little,
Just for a little sip.
like an ounce worth.
Have you guys ever noticed how different alcohols affect you differently?
Kind of, sort of, sometimes,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and also depending on what it's mixed with.
My favorite is
But,
mezcal. That's my favorite liquor is mezcal, and followed by whiskey or scotch. I don't care for vodka. I don't care for rum. Makes me sick. It usually makes me sick, so I don't really drink rum.
My father's a Scotch drinker, and
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
never
I like
liked
good
it.
scotch. I mean, I don't drink it a lot, but
I don't
I
like
do like
it.
good scotch.
I went to a
It might-
Scotch tasting.
It just tastes kind of off. I don't. There's something about it. I
It-
don't like
it- There's different kinds, and if you get the really good kind that are like
It's smooth.
fermented for a while, and in the what is it, the wood fired barrels or something, it has this real dark, smoky taste that was
Yep.
so.
Yeah,
it was
Scotch-
such a unique sensation. I only got it from that type of scotch, and I like the store bought scotches that I was used to didn't really have that.
I like one of the things I like about whiskey and scotch is that I realized today it reminds me a lot of like what I like about shopping for, like I don't really like buy guitars much, but like not anymore. I used to be like a big guitar collector like that when I had money, and like it's very similar to guitars. Like every bottle, every kind of like every manufacturer of whiskey and stuff like that, they'll have their cheap versions, and then they have like they're really nice, they're high-end ones, like guitar manufacturers like Fender makes like, really cheap guitars, and they also make really amazing guitars, and it's like this, like there's like this like kind of thing where you kind of have to and every single expression of whiskey or scotch or something like that, they're all a little different. They all have different flavor profiles and stuff like that. They're very different.
Yeah,
There's
like
nothing
wine.
else quite like it, really.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, I only asked because I got 3 7-letter words in a row in Scrabble one time on Scotch, and
Dude, how nobody can do that. 3
they
in a
were really
row.
well. I got all the right letters. They were the right letters. I got the D's and the S's and the blanks, and you know what I mean. Like I really did. I got all the right letters.
You didn't use all
Yeah.
your letters at once. That's what I thought you meant. I'm thinking,
No, I
how
did.
can you do
3
that?
7. No, I did. No, I did. 3 7-letter. I started a game. Boom, boom, boom. My friend conceded the game.
In a row,
and
3 in a row.
3 7-letter words in a row in a Scrabble game once in person on Scotch. I was on fire.
That's awesome.
And I believe that Scotch doesn't make me lustful. It just makes me smart. My father reads, at the end of every night, he used to read his medical journals while he drank Scotch and got drunk. Okay, I'm not going to lie, every night. But I always stayed away from it because the smell of it reminded me just too much of my dad, right? And I'm not that I have had I mean, we're estranged, but I still have loved him very much. I quadruple loved him my whole life. My point is that I didn't hang out. It just, the smell of it was like, like, it was like kissing your dad or whatever, like gross. Like, it just was just too, that's what it just felt like. I just
Yeah,
didn't like
I
it
get
near
you.
me, you know? So when I finally did take it up drinking, it was always on a Sunday with a girlfriend before we'd go to a hootenanny at like an open mic at a, at
Mm,
a, at a pub, right? And we'd
That's
share a
sweet.
Mickey between 3 or 4 of us girls. And so,
Well, you would share
yeah.
one drink. You would just pass it around.
No, a Mickey is what we call the little flask. I don't know how many ounces are in it,
Okay.
but
So
it's
that
sort of
was
like,
my
that's what,
I
American
got you. No, yeah, I know what you
ignorance.
mean.
yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
you were trying to say something,
So,
Busker?
Oh,
yeah, please.
do you have any Taylor's acoustics?
Dude, that's the it. Whenever I get my, that's the only guitar I'm probably gonna buy is I want to buy another Taylor. I had one that I had to sell, and I loved it. Taylors are all like that too. They're all like each Taylor is different, and I don't
Yeah,
like a
I
lot of them.
bet.
I usually like the ones that are around like the mid range ones, like the ones that are around like the $800 to $1,000 range.
Yeah,
Those always have that bright, beautiful sound to
yeah.
them that I
This,
like,
this.
and I find the really expensive Taylors to be kind of flat and muted sounding. So
Well,
but
yeah,
I love going in guitar stores and just like playing the Taylors because like certain Taylors blend with my voice in a way that makes me sound better. Like it makes me a better singer just to like have that guitar, just be playing the
Interesting.
guitar and like. But yeah, and you know
man,
what? At
yeah,
last, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, but I went in a liquor store to look for something to look for something for my wife because she wanted this certain kind of beer that like she wanted like one of these beers that like you can only get in this liquor store, and I saw a whiskey in there called Busker, and it reminded me of you actually.
no shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do you have a whiskey called Busker? I
Yeah,
gotta
there's a whiskey
find
called
that.
Busker.
Oh my God.
I didn't
Oh,
have them. I didn't have
get a
money to
picture of
buy
it
it.
the next
I
time
wanted
you're
to buy it and
there,
like and show it to you on the stream, but I didn't have any
dude.
money. I didn't really have
Dude,
money. I only had a few bucks, so
send me the picture and I'll save it and like I'll use it.
I'll go back to the. It's just at the specs up the road. I could go up there and get a picture of it for you. Yeah. There was like 2 or 3 of them too. There's 2 different kinds. They had like a rye and a regular and a straight bourbon and stuff like that. So
Yeah, well, anyways, back to this Taylor. It's a little above mid range. It was like 2200, I think, at the time when I got it, and I thought for sure it was related to African blackwood. It said it had a Tasmanian blackwood body,
hmm
and it was just so stupid. I didn't realize they were not related at all. African blackwood is one of the most beautiful sound for any guitar I've ever heard. And it's very
right,
heavy
yeah,
wood too. It's extremely
yeah.
heavy.
Those are nice.
Yeah, it sounds really good with a spruce top. But this thing has exotic I don't know what they call it, exotic mahogany. I think it's called. I don't know, the top is called that. Top and sides probably.
Show it. Pull it up a little more on the camera. Let me see a little better. I can only see like the edge of it.
Here, let me put it solo.
Oh yeah, yeah, a cutaway like that. Oh, I love that, man. Right, that's
Yeah,
yeah, that's the shit
cutaway
right
is
there.
nice because it sits in my lap better.
I don't see a point in it. I don't see a point in an acoustic that doesn't have a cutaway on it because you're just wasting like 8 frets. Like you can't even use those frets. Those on a dreadnought style, you can't even use those frets. Like
Yeah,
they're just wasted.
they do
Cutaways.
have.
I won't buy something cutaway.
I've heard the comparisons of like the same kind of wood guitar of the same brand, and I could tell the difference, but it's not like a huge difference enough that I'd want the thing sliding on my lap and fucking because it's fucking slippery as shit with the round body like that.
Yeah,
And yeah, I can't deal with shit.
I hear you, man. I hear
No
you.
more of that.
I'm very much I'm very much a guitar snob too. But I mean, it's not based on brand or anything like that. It's just based on I have to play the guitar before like if I'm gonna get like a cheap guitar, like I have no problem like buying a cheap electric off of like what's that website? There's a website that is a German website that makes these pretty decent cheap guitars. I have no problem with that. But if I'm gonna spend money on a guitar, I have to go into a place, play it, like like bond with that guitar. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
guitar has to like.
man. That's like I it was kind of dumb of me. Maybe I was just drunk and that's what my idea was. I just saved enough. I had enough money. I was like, all right, I got to buy a new guitar because my guild had cracks in it, in the top of it, and it was starting to get issues on the neck.
I used to
That
have a
was
guild.
that was my favorite guitar ever. It had a rosewood body, which I love the sound of much better than Tasmanian Blackwood, but this stuff has its own sound. It has its own voice.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Like I have played 10 different Taylors with the exact same model and the exact same wood profile and everything, and every one of them sounded different. It's because those guitars are made by hand, and so every
Yeah,
single
that
one of
just
them
makes
sounds different.
sense from physics.
Yeah. It's just not going to be the same. Unless electrics are a little different, but like even a good electric, like you can tell the difference in the tones. But with acoustics, man, like acoustics are just like it just depends on like the guitar that works with you, and it's a personal thing. There is no guitar like somebody could find like a cheap Mexican guitar somewhere that just like blends with their voice just right, and like that's what you're looking for. Like I love to go like the Guitar Center. I'll like go and just like play like the Taylors that they'll let you get to. I just like
Yeah, man. I used to love to go
there's
to
like
guitar.
3
You have Guitar
songs that I
Center.
play every time just to see if like if they make that resonance in my voice like carry,
That's
and
amazing.
if it does,
They have Guitar Center up in Canada.
I don't live in Canada. I live in Dallas.
No, I thought you did. I thought.
No.
Oh no, he's in Texas.
I'm in Texan.
Are you originally Canadian?
No.
Nope.
Somehow you got to say he's trans Canadian.
I don't know what that was about earlier.
You keep getting misidentified and misgendered. That was misgendering technically when she
Oh
said,
my god.
"Are you trans?"
Well, she was trying to correct it. The nurse wasn't. The nurse asked me that because she was like, you don't.
Yeah, but this was an opportunity. Like, take it when it happens to play the misgender card.
Well, it wasn't going to help me in medical diagnosis. If they're looking at me
Could
as
have got you
women's
something.
anatomy.
Maybe it would have gotten you an expedited appointment or something.
I mean, my appointment was already.
If
I
you
was
threw
already
a
in
little
the
Karen
exam room.
fit about it. That's what
I was already in the exam
I would have at least worked it to see what I could get out of it.
I can't say it didn't. I can't say it didn't cross my mind, but she was a really sweet lady, and she was actually trying to help. I don't know. I just want to know who the person was that put that in there in the first place. That's the thing that bothers that freaks me out. I was like, what doctor did I see that was like, oh, he's a she. Yeah, like I don't know what doctor did that. But it doesn't seem like something. I'm sure it was as simple as clicking the wrong box, but
I was accused of being
Busker,
homophobic and I was just going to say out here, people have not only called me a homophobe or transphobe, and in the same people screaming at me, calling me intersex and a hermaphrodite.
Oh, why do they call you that?
My area of interest, my research, one of the first lives I ever did was an interview on a channel about Swire syndrome. And when Stephen and I had our first falling out, he went down to that channel, he restreamed that, and then he went down to that channel and introduced himself. And that content creator is a comedian by nature as well. And he and I had a falling out. So when Stephen was riffing with him, and Stephen asked a question, Commander Lou told Stephen that, yeah, I had said I thought I was Swires and that I had internal gonads. So but it was a riff. It was just that it was just Lou being a good comedian, right? He was just doing and improving and graciously, considering how well I know Lou, having a surprise guest on his show call in, as much as he would have loved it to be the regular, it's going to throw him off a little. So he was so gracious and so capable and ribbed back at me with Stephen. So it was actually quite amusing, but that's where the rumor at that point started. So, but lots of people have accused me of being a man.
No internal gonads.
Internal
gonads. Not that I know of. Everything. I'm not going to talk about the details, but I met all the regular development milestones without any pills. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. So
that
as far as I understand,
That
Well,
only
Bexx,
happens to
you
me
know,
when I'm
I
out
have
in
to
the snow.
I should say even amongst the women, the female guests in this panel, you have one of the more naturally feminine sounding voices of the women that's been in this panel. So I never would have thought that for a second from talking to you. So I've never seen you, obviously,
interesting.
but
Thank you, Chris. Thank you,
you
Chris.
So we get manly women on the panel.
a couple of the women we have that from the panel have deeper voices. Have she just has a more traditionally female voice to me.
Oh, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that tuned into female voices. I haven't really noticed.
Or like what
They
Yeah,
all
I
sound
would say
female
it's
to me,
more
more or less.
Barbie's voice sounds a little like she has like an edge to her voice that sounds a little masculine. I'm not making fun of her. I don't
People
mean
used
it
to
as
make
an
fun.
insult.
People make fun of my voice too. I was at a board. I have a board game night, regular board game night. We were hanging out, taking a break. I was sitting at the table, and this guy we play board games with, his little kid came up to him. He was sitting right across the table from me. I have no idea how he didn't see me. I was sitting right there, and he wanted the girl to give me something, and he said, "Go find Mr. Jeff and hand him this." And she says, "Who's Mr. Jeff?" And he says, "The one with the voice."
The
And I'm
voice.
sitting right there at the table. I'm like, "The one with the voice? What does that mean?" And he was so embarrassed, and he just crawled. He never did explain it, but that was the identifier that he used with his kids, so
The
that they
one
would
with the
know
voice.
who I was out
I
of the
mean, your
group.
voice is.
I
Oh,
guess
you know what
you
I
sound
bet it is?
Cajun.
I bet it is. I'll bet it's you're the only one in the room with a different accent other than
Yeah,
the
it's the
traditional
So like
Cajun.
voice meant
Washington
accent,
accent.
because I was in speech therapy as a kid. I had an articulation disorder. My words don't project like no, and so I had to do that. And then there's definitely the Cajun accent, the Cajun English.
Well, you're pretty
Yeah.
good, man. I think you're pretty steady with your talking.
Yeah, I just think it's the Cajun accent. That's all I can imagine because like
Oh,
you don't
well,
have
I like.
you don't
I'm
have a
proud.
feminine voice.
It's a dying language and accent anyway, so I'm very proud to
There's
be
Yeah, you
one of
should
the people that have it.
Very proud of it because that's.
Can you
Oh, I am Shay.
I
can you
have.
dial in a stronger version of it? Like, or is this your
I can
regular?
try. Like growing up, all the people around me, they all talk like this, and our
Yeah.
family, for some reason, we didn't have that thick Cajun accent. We were like one of the few families in the village that see is blending. We were one of the few families that spoke like the people on TV spoke. And then I'd go to school and I'd hear everybody talking like this in the Cajun accent. And so I grew up with both, like they were in my
Yeah.
ear all day. So and then I grew up with black people
Mhm.
too. So I grew up with what they call now AVE, which we knew as Ebonics.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rex, you want to hear something trippy? Or Bexx?
I
Bexx,
do.
I called you Rex. Do you want to hear
Yes.
something trippy?
That's okay. Yes.
Fucking he lived in around the same place where I play Cajun music. So I play Cajun accordion, and he knows the guy that I bought the accordion from who builds these things. The Acadian
Not
brand.
personally,
Cool.
but I know who he is.
Yeah,
He's
Mark.
well known in the
And
area.
on top of that, me and Jeff both lived in Las Vegas at the same time
Huh,
years back.
no
And
shit.
Jeff went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show that at the theater that I was managing at the time he went to it.
Really?
Cool.
And so
And
you
we
see that small
It's-
world
it's-
time and on the
I know
YouTube.
it's the nexus.
Wow, it's
We're
crazy.
connected
Is that
in
where
ways
you
we
are?
can't even imagine. We're gonna start finding lost relatives on here and everything.
Yeah, I play
Are you in
Cajun
New
accordion.
Orleans then, Be More Busker, or where are you?
I've lived in Baltimore all my life, but I've been down to Louisiana. I've been to New Orleans. It was the day before Mardi Gras, because the day of Mardi Gras, I was on the Mardi Gras wagon through Eunice, around where Jeff lived. And I don't know if you were living there when I went. It was in 2005. Were you living there?
No, I was in Vegas actually at the time.
Okay, yeah. So like, yeah, that was quite a trip. Like fucking, I got loaded. Man. Holy crap!
I could imagine. It
Hopefully
was
I've
so
seen-
normal
Speaking of
growing
that,
up.
the speaking of that,
So
this
weird
whiskey, I'm
outside.
just sipping it, but it is amazing whiskey. This
Let
really
me
is.
see in a plastic cup.
I didn't have a better cup to put it in, so I just put it in.
Chris, that's come on.
I don't have any
Yeah.
better. I actually threw out a lot of our glasses because
All
because
right.
of
I just feel bad. I feel bad for anybody that has to drink whiskey or wine out of a plastic cup. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
plastic-
it's
New
okay.
Orleanian.
I'm not classy, so it's okay. I'm not a classy bitch, so it's all
But-
right.
Well,
I can be
I'm
as
trying to. All right. I'll stop. People try to do that with me too. I had one job. Like one of the jobs in Seattle I was applying for. I went through the interview. It was a friend that worked there, so I was going through her, so she knew me, and she was trying to get me on. And she's like, you have a great skill set and you communicate well and everything, and we like you. We just need to polish you up a little bit and you'll be fine. And I'm thinking, polish me up? What needs polish? Like, what if my skill set is good and all this other stuff is good? What's this polished stuff that I'm lacking that I need to suddenly be the right employee? And I always thought about that.
Yeah, I've gotten comments like that before in interviews, and I just kind of like rolled with it at the time, but it was always hyper like it was very like it made me very self conscious like too. It's like what's wrong with me kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm fine in my culture. I'm perfectly fine, but I come up here and there's definitely something people notice that I'm lacking by their standards that they're trying to help me achieve so I could assimilate and fit in. But at the same time, that's kind of
Why should you have to assimilate? Why should you have to assimilate? Why?
because
Why
it's that because my culture has issues with like historical issues with forced assimilation
I know,
as
but
it is.
but
So I'm
you
very
add
sensitive about being forced to like my culture is somehow not good enough, and I have to adopt this other culture in order to advance or be successful. That makes me very nervous in general.
I agree with that. I mean, I think
Because the American
honestly,
principle, at least, is we're all supposed to have the same option, start out equal. That stuff's
Yeah.
not supposed to matter if we're able to
I-
do the job.
and I honestly believe that that's one of the things that we even in these communities that we miss and that we don't focus or we don't pay enough attention to is the fact that people with having different opinions than us is a good thing. It's good that people are different. It's good that if without those different perspectives we don't grow, we don't get any better, we don't
Well,
learn
isn't that
anything.
the gospel behind DEI? But these are the same people that it's coming from that
Well,
are
there's
acting this
nothing
way.
wrong with diversity. It's just whenever it's forced. Diversity is a good thing, but forced diversity is a bad thing. Is whenever you look past people's skill set and you hire based on
Yeah,
the fact
they
like
become a
being
symbol or a
quoted.
totem or an
Yeah,
avatar for some political category.
yeah. That's the problem. I mean, like there's. I
The
mean,
individual gets subsumed by the group. That at the basis of all of this is
I
my
mean, I think now
biggest.
see the E and DEI is the worst part. Is equity. Equity is a
Yeah,
bullshit idea.
yeah. Not
Inclusion.
everybody gets to
I'm
see
all
the
for
baseball
diversity
game.
and
I'm sorry.
inclusion, but equity is bullshit. Equity means that everybody ends up the same, and that's just not the way the world
Right.
works. And it's just not. It's not the way the world
That's
should
called
work.
poppy. That's when the shears come out and the poppies start getting chopped.
I found
I
a
was imagining.
Twin Peaks. I found a Twin Peaks button here. It's a Bookhouse Boys. See
Oh, let me see.
my Bookhouse Boys button. I just found this. I found this earlier today.
Oh, nice.
I was imagining when they say we just polish you up a bit, getting out at ShamWow. They get out their ShamWow and start buffing you up. Right?
Just
People have been trying to
through
polish me my whole life. If
run him
somebody
through
can
the
do it, good luck.
run him through the auto car wash a few times, just like have him stand on like the two things and just like have him like have like the sprayers and the waxers come down and polish him all up
Yeah.
real good so he comes out the other
Yeah.
side.
Well, I since figured out what it meant. It means whiten me up, in the
Yeah.
sense of like white Anglo-Saxon
Wasp.
Protestant
It means
middle
wasp
class
you up. It means
professional
wasp you up.
standards, etc.
It means
Yeah,
wasp you up,
wasp me up,
not whiten.
exactly. Wasp me up.
And I would say, if anything, if it's over here on the West Coast, like, which is where you are, I'd say it comes down to being the man with the voice. like your friend, right? That there's a real bias against, and your accent is very, I don't know the proper language without sounding like I have a bias. So tempered, not thick. I don't. You guys, people know
Oh yeah,
what
it's
words
very
are
moderate
described.
for a Cajun. If
Yeah.
they're gonna
So,
hear way
but
worse if they go to Louisiana.
people's classification of that, like Hollywood or whatever's been done with accents out in the world to vilify, the sort of British accent or German accent, or and to dumb down to make the Texan or the Mississippian or whatever they're called, or Louisianian, or I'm sorry, I don't know the proper
They did that a
terms.
lot with people,
All of them.
Louisiana people, like that with Cajuns. They like
Look,
really made
and
fun
like
of
I'll
them.
admit, see, I grew up in pretty deep South areas in Texas. I immediately, and like I said, like as is my nature, I rebelled against the Southern accent. That's the reason why I don't have one. I grew up in Texas my whole life. I rebelled against the Southern accent. I intentionally made myself speak in a non-Southern manner, and I still have some Southern qualities to my voice, but they're not very obvious. And here in Dallas, it's actually a really good thing. It doesn't affect, but when living in smaller towns like I did growing up, it made me an outsider just on my accent alone. People thought I was a Yankee. People thought I was from up north. I had people accuse me from being from Canada. What a horrible accusation to make. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Jeff, man, I'll tell you what. I've talked to hundreds of Cajuns, or at least 100 or more. I don't know. I mean, I've talked to so many in my lifetime. But I never would have guessed you were Cajun until you told me. And I knew you had a little bit of an accent, but I didn't really try to figure it out. Couldn't put one together, and I couldn't even tell you were Cajun. But I can tell now that like you kind of like let it out sometimes. It's not like
Well, the people up here sure can't tell.
they can.
Oh yeah. People tell me
Oh.
it comes out more when I'm drinking or talking to my family.
Oh, dude. Yeah, like accents come out.
But
when you
interesting.
drink, and that's for sure, I guess.
I've had a
interesting
Southern
that,
accent come out of my mouth at certain times, like talking to people, and I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden I heard myself speaking, and I was like, I just went into this Texas drawl, and I started talking like I was like from deep South Texas, and I was just like, and people were, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Like it was like something possessed me, and I I didn't know where it came from.
Chris, we still gotta do your script reading thing you want to do. We still gotta get that done.
Yeah, we do.
Me and
well,
my
I don't
brother
know.
make
I
fun
don't
of
know
I'm
if I can bring
excited.
Miss Becca back. I don't know if I can bring Miss Becca back, but when I was feeling like I was being put through some kind of ritual out here, some kind of
Oh, no.
scapegoat ritual, I decided I would come out as Miss Becca. And every time someone said something to me about Miss Bex, I'd say, I don't know anything. All I know is you're right. That Bex is a feminist, Damon. Yeah, a Damon feminist Bex.
I
She's
love
awful. That Bex. You're
I
right.
love
She's
it. Yeah.
awful.
it.
She
Have
is
you
rolling.
ever heard the
Oh, that's
white
funny.
trash Baltimore accent? Go
No.
What is a
away.
Baltimore accent? I don't even know what a Baltimore accent is.
It's like, like you can hear it down in like Hamden, and you're like in the city, but also in the county.
I even watched almost all The Wire, and I still don't know what a Baltimore accent is.
Well, like you don't really hear it from the black dudes. You can't really tell, but like with white people, like you couldn't really hear it.
I was gonna say it was a white accent.
It's
say
different
that.
though, but like they pronounce things like with the Orioles, they'll be like go O's. I mean, you know.
That sounds like a Cockney, like
Heavily,
British
yes,
accent.
heavily British.
No, it's kind of weird. Like it kind of does kind of, but
Is
it's
that where
not.
they film Mary Poppins?
I don't know. But like, yeah, there is a specific kind of really raw.
I mean, I know a
Baltimore.
Boston accent when I hear it. I know a Boston accent. I
I
know.
love Boston. accent.
Yeah, and then like everybody else, it just has their own kind of. There really is no.
Well, there's technically everyone has an accent. Like, there's technically nobody's accent free. There's just one that's
it's just
sounds
like
more standard to the ear,
exactly to the area,
which is like the Midwest Chicago accent is what I was told. That the more you could talk like them, the more you're gonna resonate with the majority of America.
Yeah.
Like, well, that leaves me out.
I'll tell you this much:
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
The slack jaw that you need to speak with a really thick drawl. Let's say again, I don't know if I'm using the right technical terms.
Drawls, right?
You probably are.
It feels good. It feels good to wide mouth talk like that. It's hard to do. Like, I'm not saying that, but when you try to, so I watched a German person on a panel one day, and I saw his German actually has a slack jaw to it as well, even though it's more guttural. But you can it feels good. It makes you smile more. Like, I don't know how to put it. It's wider. You open your mouth differently. It uses different muscles. Like,
I'm sorry. All I can think of is like there's this Dylan Moore, and he's an Irish comic. He used to be he was in Shaun of the Dead, and he's a show called Black Book, stuff like that. He's a bit, one of his stand-up bits, where he talks about German accents, and he's like no one should ever want to talk like that. It's German sounds like it sounds like a typewriter chewing tinfoil being kicked down a flight of stairs.
Oh God!
And he's like you're talking to a German person. They're very, very personable and everything. They're talking about and then our economy is doing very good, and the whole time you're just thinking Hitler. When Hitler did the Hitler thing and the Hitler.
I don't know, man. I've always thought like.
I forgot to mention him, Dylan Moore, and he's one of my favorite comics by far.
I forgot about the comic, like everyone's favorite comic thing.
If you've never heard Dylan Moore and Bexx, I suggest you check out his specials, Monster and Yeah Totally. They're amazing. Like they're just great stand-ups. They're great classic stand-ups. They're it's very rambly kind of stuff, kind of like the early Eddie Izzard kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Kind of early Eddie Izzard, but he's brilliant. He's such a funny comic. His later stuff gets a little bit he gets a little boomery later the older he gets. Where like some of his comedy is like based on like not understanding modern music and stuff like that, and it's like kind of cringe, but he's still very funny. Cool. I think Yeah Totally is like my favorite stand-up of his, but you should check it out. It's I think it's on YouTube if I'm not mistaken. So, but it's Dylan, Dylan like wait, Dylan Moran.
What's his, Dylan Mulvaney?
Dylan Moran.
Yeah.
Like I say, he did a sitcom called Black Books, which is classic, and he was the nerdy guy in Shaun of the Dead. The guy gets eaten by the zombies in Shaun of the Dead, and he's not. If that's not a good representative of him, but that's what he's most famous for. So he also weirdly did a movie called Run Fat Boy Run. With what was the other guy that was in it? It was him and God, I think and his occasional co-star. He did it was with Simon Pegg and him.
Oh yeah, I know.
And Simon Pegg and him, and it was directed by all people of David Schwimmer directed the movie, and it's actually a really funny movie. It's really worth checking out. It's called Run Fat Boy Run. It's pretty good.
I'd almost watch that just to see if I like David Schwimmer more as a director than a
David Schwimmer
actor.
is a much better director than he ever was as an actor. I'll tell you that. Like, when I found out that movie was,
I only know him from Friends. Did he do anything else?
He directed.
Yeah,
he's directed a lot of movies now. He moved in directing.
No, I mean acting wise.
One of the movies. He does a movie. He does a movie about the death of a male friend. I don't know if it's called something
They
like
call
The
the pallbearer.
Pallbearer.
Oh,
Called
Yeah.
the pallbearer. It's not terrible.
And
It
it's
was his
Yeah.
first
actually,
movie.
yeah, it's not that bad. It's just that David Schwimmer, I don't think he's actually an actor. I think that's just David Schwimmer, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Plays
think he
himself.
puts on an act. I just think he just remembers the script well, and he's David,
He
right?
just says it right.
So yeah, and it's, I've never really loved that kind of whiny humor.
I haven't either.
But I also see it for its place. So, you know, it's like Seinfeld has so much lore that continues on. Laughed a lot at Seinfeld, but
and
mostly
Run
at the
Fat Boy
slapstick
Run.
stuff.
Run Fat Boy Run. In addition to that pedigree, it also one of the screenwriters was Michael Ian Black.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Like it is a weird.
What was that
combination
sketch
of
show he
talent.
was on in the '90s that he got started
Stella
from?
and the State. Stella and the
The
State.
State. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of the State. Stella
Yeah.
is one of my favorite things of all time, but like Stella is very anti-humor type thing. It's probably not your thing, Jeff, but I love Stella. Stella is hilarious. It's just like it's very similar to like the Young Ones. It's very
I don't know them
absurdist,
either.
and
I'm
it's
too
like
old.
It's
it's
hilarious.
very
How is
upset.
it anti-humor?
We Liquid Television came out about the same time, and that humor I got. Like I loved Liquid Television.
Yeah. I mean, you might like it then. I don't know.
All of
Stella's
it
my
was
favorite thing.
MTV. All of this came off of MTV. They had all those weird, edgy.
It's on my Plex server. It's on my Plex server, and
Sketch and comedy
it's
shows and
hilarious.
animation.
I love Stella. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But it's not funny like in that sense of like when you first watch it, the first time you watch it, it's not funny. It's like funny when you think about it later. Like you
back in the '90s in that time period, it was. Is this going to be funny on drugs or
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
Watch it on
Right.
acid. Should
Oh,
we
on
save this for
drugs?
acid, or if we
Oh.
watch it now, is it going to?
yeah,
On,
man.
if you're stoned, Stella is hilarious stoned. But if you're not stoned, yeah, like it. But if you're not stoned, like it's one of those things that it's funny because you watch it and then things happen in life and then it reminds you of that show and you're just like and it makes you laugh about it like that because like
digs up
it's
digs up the memory and the laughter from the memory.
yeah, it's very it's like there's this one scene where they're all talking about like they're arguing about jazz or jazz funk, jazz or jazz funk and all this stuff and then they're having this argument on this table and then one of them goes and then I say something and like that in itself that doesn't translate very well like as I'm explaining it but it's extremely funny in the show, you know. Oh, is that a real picture of you, Bexx? You're very pretty.
Yes, it is.
You don't look mannish at all. I don't know why anyone would think that.
Yeah, you're
There's
attractive.
when I did first go on camera, one of the, well, not first, but one of the, there's some bad scenes out there of me after 5 days of live streaming obsessively with very smoke affected fingers and greasy hair. I did bathe.
Bathing's
and the angle
overrated.
that
Bathing's overrated. Don't worry
said,
about that.
Well, you know
I
what?
did in those 5 days. But I
What-
would say what I did was I set my camera on an easel that was slightly below me and had an angle back. And I just don't care about these things. I've taken selfies like twice in my life. I just don't do that stuff. It's not my thing. Like, so I just didn't care. I wanted the content creator to see that I was being genuine. I didn't even think about it. When I'm in my worst depression, I just go to the grocery store. I don't care what I look like. You know what I mean? Like, so there are lots of pictures out there that show me at a different angle. You know, just like this one will take a little bit of weight off because I have the camera above me like that, right? The camera
Right, yeah,
below
I get it.
me.
Oh yeah, I
showed
remember
my,
those
showed my
tricks.
square jaw, you know? So
No, I get it. I mean,
yeah,
the only reason I go
yeah.
on camera is because I hate it when other people go on camera and criticize like when people are on camera. So like I stay on camera as much as possible because like I try to put myself out there as much as possible. Like look, motherfucker, I'm on camera. Like, you know,
Oh my
you
god,
can
that's
fucking
how old are you in that one?
27, 28.
Oh wow,
Oh, you're cute-
we
you're
would have
cute as
totally
hell.
hung out.
You're cute as hell.
You look like
Yeah.
my crowd.
Thank you. I agree. I have
Yeah,
a
just
lilac
from your
contact
picture, I would
lenses in there.
hang out with you based on your picture alone.
What
Yeah.
year? What year was that? Was that the 80s or the 90s?
No, I'm born in 72. That was right around 2000.
Okay.
Probably actually more like 1998. So I was more like
Hey,
26,
the golden
27.
years of the human race.
Oh,
Or
no.
like 99, 2000.
97, 98, 99.
That's the
I was-
golden
I was
years of the human
18.
race, man. That's the best music, the best movies, everything came from
I
right there.
would've
in
been-
Movies for
1998
sure.
to
That was
would've
definitely the
2001.
peak, I think, of
I would have
postmodern
been too
cinema.
young for you. I was 18 or 17 or something.
No,
I
yeah.
actually want to
if-
correct
if-
again. It
If I
was
was your
closer to
age, if
2000.
I was your age, whenever that picture was taken, like I'd be crushing on you, totally.
Yeah,
Aw, thanks.
you're attractive and
I was gonna say it was closer to 2000. I'm mistaken again, but that's okay. I appreciate the history for 88. Yeah, there.
You're looking
So
fresh. You're looking fine.
Hey, you look fine, man.
well,
There's
thank you
nothing-
very much.
nothing-
I was
you
going
got- you
out
got nothing to fear.
to an event that night. Pardon me?
You got nothing to fear. You can come on camera. Like there's nothing to fear. Like this is not a judgmental place anyway.
Yeah, but the rest of the
because-
internet is, because someone could take the content and go rip it
Yeah.
apart on their stream.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, it's okay. I've had over 30 channels make content of me. It's I'm used to it.
People keep telling me you're a troll,
So-
and I've yet to see evidence of it. Like
It's
people
interesting.
say Brit is a troll. People say you're a troll.
They say Brit's a troll. She's never
Yeah,
done,
people say-
as a veteran troll myself. She hasn't done anything that showed up on my
Brit's
radar.
been nothing but
You know-
freaking like kind and honest and genuine to me. But I mean, this is the way I feel about most people that people say are trolls
When I
all the
push
time.
back, I think when I've pushed back, I also am a bit of an instigator. Like I love walking into local coffee roasters and being like, I had the best Big Mac of my life yesterday. I've been doing that for like 30 years. You know, it really.
Wait, what do
love
you
that
do?
Comment. I love
What?
that comment.
I didn't get that.
I love
I go
that
into
comment.
That went over my
organic
head.
local-
Wait, let
Mac
me
of
hear
my
what she
life.
does. Go ahead, Bex.
I go into organic local roasters, right? And I talk about McDonald's.
Oh,
I'm like, I had the
love
best
that.
Big Mac of
that's
my life
beautiful.
last night.
That
Loud
is
enough for the
beautiful.
room to hear.
Man, you should get that on
So-
video. Like you would be a hit on
I'm
YouTube
not- oh.
for that. Holy shit. Yeah.
So
I would
yeah,
laugh.
so
I
there
would
is
get it if I
aspects,
were a
you know, and
customer
when
and saw her do that. I'd be like, "This is fun."
online I pushed back, right? And then I learned to also like start calling people out as I'm very good at patterns. I studied a lot of people. I flew into some chats and, you know, accused an account of being someone else's sock account, you know, just in chat. But my reputation preceded me. So
Did it turn
I
out to
would,
be
you
true?
know, like I'm
Were you
just saying-
accurate?
well, there's no proof ever. You know what I
Oh.
mean? You can't necessarily prove those things. But I would say some of the stuff that I've called out based on the blocking that I've had to do at different times.
Here's the question: Have you
uh,
ever had a Big Mac that was actually better than another Big Mac? But like,
Do they have Big Macs in Canada?
I
Of course
actually have
they
only
do.
had about 3 Big Macs in my life. I'm a quarter pounder girl.
Okay. All
I
right.
think the Big
So,
Macs used to
but
taste
no,
a lot
I just
better.
find
So
the Big
you're
Macs are
just
too
you're
messy.
just
They
a
put
McDonald's
worm juice in
cheeseburger
the Big
person, but slightly
Macs.
larger. It's just a McDonald's
Pardon
cheeseburger,
me?
but slightly larger. That's your thing. So.
Well, what I actually do, here's the trick. You order a McDouble, you sub
Right.
slivered onions and sub a quarter bun, and you get basically a quarter pounder with cheese for the price of a
Hey.
McDouble.
Hey, McDonald's hacks. No,
Y'all heard it
all
here.
respect right there.
Yeah. But that's where I
But
would
you know,
say I
I've
just want to
actually
say this one thing.
actually had a Big Mac
Um,
before that actually like at that moment, just because like maybe it was at that life. Like I remember once I got like I had a coupon for a free Big Mac with a drink, and I got that Big Mac, and that Big Mac was like the best thing at that moment. Like at that moment,
Because
like,
it
the
was
best thing
free?
I'd
At
ever
that
eaten.
moment until you're burping later on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, but it tasted so good at that moment, and I don't even know why. But
Oh.
I was just like, I was so into it, and like, and so, I understand that comment, and I think that comment's hilarious in itself because Big Macs generally are very like, anything from McDonald's is pretty much the same, like their fries are
No, not
great
as a
until they get
kid. A
cold.
Big Mac was really something. It was like the top of the fast food
I
pyramid
fucking loved it. Hey,
until Taco Bell came along.
you guys ever dip your Big Mac into sweet and sour sauce?
Oh no, thank you, ma'am, sir.
It's
No.
good. It's good. I don't know
You
You
have
know what?
all
I've
of it.
never done that. But I would try that.
You
I would
can
definitely
imagine
try that.
how it might taste, and it does taste good. No kidding. But
Okay,
it's
Jack.
kind
Well,
of
Jack.
dipping
Well,
in
you're in the
there.
comments. Come on
Okay.
the panel. Like get your ass out of the
Yeah,
comments.
come
and come on the
sprinkle your
panel.
crack on here. Oh, that didn't come out well. But come up, do.
Speaking of drugs, I gotta go find another different strain in the other room. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Strains just lying around. Where did I put that strain? Honey, have you seen my strain? No, not that strain.
I don't know, but this I have to say this whiskey, I wasn't counting. I really only poured like an ounce in here, and I swear to God, it is it like because it's barrel proof, it's 129 proof.
You
It's
feeling it
very
up?
high. It's very high if you know anything about whiskey.
I know everything. I did Everclear like twice in my life. That's the one thing I can't do. And the Everclear in Vegas is different because their laws are different, so they have to make special
Yeah.
Everclear for Vegas. But I did the Louisiana Everclear. We did 2 shots before going out to the gay bar. It made me violent. Like I was beating up all of my friends. They would come
Yeah,
and
no,
tell me
dude,
hi, and I would like
Everclear is bad
push
news,
them,
but
push them on the
I
dance
don't mess
floor,
with
and they'd
Everclear.
fall, and I pushed one of my friends up against the wall and started trying to beat him up. Like I cannot do Everclear. That is demon juice.
I do not do Everclear. I don't do
I'm not even a
Jägermeister.
violent, aggressive person. I don't know where that came from at night.
Jägermeister is what you do when you want to end your night badly.
I love
It's
Jaeger.
always every time I used to go out in Vegas, like we would go out and like we'd have like, drinks with friends or something like that. And some asshole would be like, shots of Jaeger all around.
Yeah, man.
And
Shots of
and it
Jaeger.
would
That's
and
me over
and
here at the
and the
in the
night
bar.
would
Hey,
always
Chris.
end the worst because of that. Like it never ended well. And it's not even like a high proof
But
alcohol.
Jaeger, you have to know how to do Jaeger. It's a sipping thing. That's not your main get drunk on thing. It's a supplement.
No, it's something that you use to destroy your night is what it is.
Oh well, I take that back.
Did you ever do Jaeger bombs?
Yeah, is that with the
Yes.
Red
You mean
Bull?
What are they
the
again,
Red Bull?
though?
I can't
What
mix
is
alcohol
it
with the
when
Red
can't
Bull.
remember
My
it's such a
brain
weird
wakes up
thing.
so
Mix Jaeger with
dizzy
Red
and
Bull.
spazzy the next day.
Yeah, the Red Bull
Jaeger and Red
Jaeger.
Bull are two different flavors that actually go great together. And
But,
I
like,
hate it because like they will fuck your night up so bad. But I
You have to
used to
drink
I remember
responsible.
Red
used to go to
Bull and
we used to go
Responsible
to this place
hedonism.
in Vegas called the Art Bar. The Art Bar was this like chartreuse screen like place that was right down the First Friday section, and we used to know the owner, who was an Elvis impersonator, and he liked us a lot for some reason. He used to come by and like drink with us at our table and stuff like. And every time it was getting
That's gonna be fucking
to
awesome.
closing time, he'd be like Jaeger bombs for everybody.
All
And I was
right,
like, and every
dude.
time I was like, oh shit, here it comes. And like the Jaeger bombs would come out and I would drink it and it would taste amazing, but it would always ruin my night.
Oh yeah, the
Every
next day you're not gonna be feeling good.
time.
Oh shit.
I used to be a
Do you guys
martini drinker
remember?
back then. Okay, I used to
That's
drink
mine. Martini.
I used to drink
Yes.
a dirty Vegas martini with extra olives. That was my
Yes.
drink back then.
Yeah. Same
A
here.
dirty vodka martini, not gin, but
I,
vodka.
I have a slight. It depends on my mood. I like them both. I have a slight preference for gin flavor wise. That's the
I
with the
like
juniper
gin.
in it. I
I
would
like
think you would be
gin.
partial to gin.
No, I like gin. I do like gin, but but as a martini, this is way back when. This is way back before I had a kid at all. We didn't have any kids back then. And
Yeah.
that's we drank vodka martinis extra dirty with extra olives. and like that's what I would drink all night. And then Jesse, who was the Vegas impersonator art bar owner, he would always come over to the table and he'd sit down and he'd be shooting the shit with us and stuff like that, and we'd just be hanging out, and he'd be like Jaeger bombs all around, and he would put in each, and he'd like it would be two for each person. He'd bring out two Jaeger bombs for each person, and like we would, and he would be like, all right, you ready? You're like, you got to drink them. And like we're like, okay, whatever. And like we'd take the shots, and then like and they tasted really good, but like they would always ruin the night.
I used to play Irish music, and we had these things called Irish car bombs. Have you had one of those?
Oh yeah, Irish car bombs, man. Yeah, I've been there.
So a Jaeger bomb like that, you don't drop your shot of Jaeger into the Red Bull then.
Right. I mean, a car bomb. I mean, you know what that is. I mean, it's like when you drink, you pour, you put the dairy into the alcohol, and it curdles.
You drop it in real quick, and then you drink it down real quick. You drop a shot of Bailey's and Jameson into a pint of Guinness.
and so the Bailey's curdles.
I know,
and
if you don't drink it fast enough.
If you don't drink it fast enough, it's instant vomit.
I don't even mind drinking it if it curdles.
But what's amaretto dropped in a beer called again?
What's that?
I don't know. Good.
Amaretto. It's a something.
I like amaretto. I love amaretto in beer.
You drop the shot of Bailey's and Jameson into a pint of Guinness. Draft, not extra stout. I've never had it.
Crazy.
An extra
221
stout.
Steel Reserve. Okay, what are you? What are you like a? What are you like? Are you like from Compton, dude? Like what? Who drinks 211 Steel Reserve? Except for like if you're like a ghetto, like someone from the ghetto. And
is that a 40?
Oh yeah, that's Steel Reserve.
Bull, or what were those?
Stuff,
Steel Reserve ain't real drink. That's like it's like.
Oh man, that malt beer.
I'm sorry, but this whiskey that my friend sent me it's extremely strong. And like since I got my surgery like years back, see, I used to be super sensitive to alcohol. I never drank alcohol.
Does whiskey help with your vertigo, or does it make it worse, or does it affect it at all?
It's if I'm sitting still, it's fine. It actually makes it better if I'm sitting still. If I try to get up and do anything right now, I will be very unsteady.
Yeah.
What about the day after? Does it make your vertigo into like?
No. The thing is that like the alcohol wears off really quickly, because I had the stomach surgery thing, so my stomach is very, very small. I only have what they call a sleeve. I don't have like the pouch, like like when your stomach, you're seeing this picture of a stomach and it has like the thing, the picture of like the sleeve part, then it goes into the big pouch part. They cut that part out, so all you have is the sleeve.
God.
And that makes the alcohol, like, it hits you really fast, but it also wears off really fast. And it's actually a very different experience drinking. I can handle alcohol way better than I used to be able to.
I mean, you look slim. You look good. Has it helped? Or was it a medical procedure for something other than weight? None of my business. You're welcome to tell me.
It was a medical procedure for weight because at the time I was actually working at Amazon, and I was on I was even on like diet drugs. Like I had like these diet stuff that I had injected in my stomach and stuff like that. And I was gaining weight really rapidly, and I was up to like 375 pounds. And I don't know why. I just kept gaining weight, and I wasn't eating very much. And so my doctor was like, well, the only thing I know to do is this happens sometimes with like glandular problems. So I suggest you get the surgery. So they sent me for the surgery, and I got it. And
you lost a lot of weight, man. You looking good.
I lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
You're like half the size you once were.
I'm about 195 now. Yeah, I used to be 150. I used to do 150 before COVID.
Yeah.
I
So-
went from 230 to 125
Wow.
via neurological atrophy, MS atrophy. I've lost a lot of
Damn,
muscle
dude.
mass because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost fat, but the muscle mass is
You
what
know
most of
what's
the weight.
crazy about the stomach sleeving surgery? A lot of the problems I had that were like MS type, like esque symptoms, they went away when I had that. I also lost a lot of like a lot of my stomach problems. I used to have I used to have really bad like acid reflux and stuff like that. It resets your stomach entirely. It makes your stomach completely different. It resets your gut biome entirely. And
Dude, I need a reset.
no, dude, I mean seriously,
Can I
like
share
I mean
some?
I would recommend it to
Yeah,
people
yeah, go for it,
if you had
Rex.
insurance,
Bex.
if you have insurance
Yeah,
to
go
cover
ahead,
it.
Bex.
I just wanted to, and I can wait too. I just wanted to share since you were saying you needed something like that reset. I was going to share with you something I learned from Dr. Gabe Merkin out of Seattle radio station because I lived just across the water pretty much back in the day about MS that might help you. It's a correlative factor, but I can share with you where it's affected my.
Oh no, what happened? Oh, there you are. You came back. But
Nerve.
your picture
Basically, he was
disappeared.
saying there's a strong positive correlation between the herpetic and bear with me here because 85% of North Americans, non-Jewish North Americans, carry some antibody or not antibody, that's wrong. Well, in some case not. Anyway, some variation of a herpetic strain in their blood, right? And so he was saying there's a strong positive correlation between this this herpetic strain and anyways, I'm just saying I might not be getting the facts straight 30 years later, but my point
That's
is what I remembered
That's
from it.
okay. This is an entertainment channel anyway. Nobody
Hey,
should come here for medical
yeah.
information.
This is not medical advice.
Well,
Yes,
Bex,
this is not medical advice.
Wait, let her finish.
Well, I gotta back up
So
a
I just
bit.
Okay.
Strain of what for what? Where? I'm sorry.
okay. So here, no, all he was saying, and let me see if I can get this right because I'm going to add my understanding of something that I did when I used to get cold sores, and I haven't had one in like I don't even know 15 years.
Alcohol.
So a lot of people had chicken pox, right? Had cold sores, not to worry. It's very common. The only difference between simplex 1 and simplex 2 is location.
Pox when I was a kid. I
Yeah,
also had
so
later on, and
essentially,
I had what was the shit that comes later on?
The shingles. I had those
shingles.
too. I just had
Yeah.
mine.
That was like it was like fucking somebody took a hot fucking fireplace poker and stuck it in the fire and put it all down the soft tissue of my side of my ribs, right beneath
Damn.
my armpit. Like, oh my god, man! Oh my god! Just
I-
that was so long ago. But
I felt
thinking
that
about
before.
that. Sorry, go ahead.
That's how
They
it
have
felt when I
vaccines
broke
came
my
out-
ribs.
Sorry,
So
go ahead.
they
I'm
came
Go ahead,
out
Bex.
It's okay. I just wanted to say that. So he was talking about the relationship between MS and the herpetic strain, right? Also, the fact that MS is one of the most commonly misdiagnosed. Not that I'm saying that that's happened to you. One of the most commonly
I would
misdiagnosed.
not be surprised.
My mom
I've
had
got a really
shadows on her brain
I got
in her
a
CAT
weird
scan, and
a weird form of MS.
So what I was going to share with you is there's a lysine, okay, out of the 22 amino acids required for protein synthesis for our body. In my dictionary, of 8 of them had an asterisk beside them. And the asterisks, said they must be obtained in the diet. They can't be built in your body out of other building blocks, right?
You
So
can't get it as
one of them's
supplement
lysine.
form.
You can get it in, it's all meant to be consumed. So what I'm saying is 8 of the amino acids that we require in our body for protein synthesis must be taken in our diet, and there's a bunch of them that actually the Western diet is deficient in, one of them being lysine. Now, lysine is something they came out with that
I used
they
to
used
take
to put,
lysine.
that they had Yeah, they used to have a cream that came out for a while, but I guess it hadn't been passed or they pulled it off the market. But I got a lysine drip, like a little, bottle of, with a dropper that I had for a
Oh
while. And I
yeah,
only
like
took it for 3 or 4
a
months.
vial dropper. Yeah,
And
totally.
I've never had a cold sore since. I've never ever had a cold sore since. I've had the close cut, like I've had the start of one. But if anyone's ever known themselves to have cold sores, like say on your mouth, they'll always come in the same spot, but
So
then they might move along a nerve ending to a new spot. Mine moved inside to the tip of my nose, and then they disappeared. So I would strongly urge you to try
yeah,
finding a lysine
dude.
supplement.
All right,
And
lysine, you say?
yeah, I'll put it in the
And
back. And I
it's
know that
edible.
it might be called, yeah,
LYCINE or something. Is that
I think it's S.
LYSINE. And they might call it
close?
L-lysine, but I
Yeah,
put it in the back
yeah. Oh,
because
I'm gonna give it a
lysine,
shot.
leucine, isoleucine, those were 3 of the 8 that I recall.
Oh,
But considering how there's so much neuroplasticity to our nervous system, I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of if it helps, it actually allows the body to stop having the myelinated sheath inside your body being taken away,
yeah,
dissolving away, let's say, from this
that's right.
internal herpetic strain, right? And then your whether it comes back or not, your neuroplasticity would likely compensate, be capable of healing and compensating
Oh, dude,
better than while it's continuing to
this is
deteriorate,
very,
you know?
Really
very
interesting.
inexpensive as shit
Yeah, it really is.
on
And just, yeah,
Amazon. Ha, I don't know. Should I get it
You
from
could even go to a
Amazon?
GNC and get it for cheap.
I know,
I
but
want to know silver.
$10 for a bottle of 1500
That sounds
milligrams.
normal to me from the vitamin prices I've been.
90 capsules for 1500 milligram.
And Jack,
If you
I
could find it
don't
in
remember what
if
Jurassic
you could,
Park said about lysine. I don't remember
And
anything
it's
about that.
also
yeah, I know,
got
I'm curious too.
olive leaf in it. I don't know if that has, and then there's another brand that's lysine complex.
Is there any lysine,
Oh, sounds
what would you call it when it's in a liquid
L-lysine. I
form?
think that's a different
Try
an
looking up lysine
L
extract or something like that. Yeah, L-lysine.
L-lysine. That a lot of these are labeled that. I think that might be the technical term.
I think
There's
it might just be called L-lysine as well. Like I might have remembered the name wrong.
Man, this is. I think this. I have a feeling this is gonna help. I have a feeling because you know what else?
Dude, if that helps you, like that that would make me so happy to hear that it helps you.
I mean,
That would be
like
amazing.
in combination. All right, now check this out. I was on another panel, and this chick was telling me about uh, methyl something B12. Is a different form of B12, and the form I got, it's sublingual. I got it sublingual, and it's like very powerful. And my walking is a little damn bit better, and I'm getting better exercise. I can use the rubber band, the exercise band, and push my foot out while I'm trying to exercise laying on my bed. I used to try to do that. I couldn't do it. Now I can.
That's
So
awesome, dude.
yeah. So
Excellent.
like
My grandmother recently sent me something for my vertigo that was called Vertigo, and I was really excited to
What's
try
in it?
D
I don't.
vertigo.
It's when I actually looked at the ingredients, it's just a bunch of herbal stuff. It's like
Oh,
basically like what high what they call it whenever they just dilute with the water, it's just like
homeopathic.
that. Yeah, homeopathic, and you rub it behind your ears and stuff like that, and it doesn't do shit. But I was really excited to try it. I was like, oh my god, maybe this will actually help, and it didn't help at all.
That's what they
I was
want
really
you to be.
disappointed.
They want you to be excited enough to try it.
This is what
The program.
I would search for. I would search straight up lysine drops for cold sores.
What, edible?
Lysine drops for cold sores.
I know, but like,
I only
is it still gonna be edible? Because I don't know if
yes, yeah. No, it is. It's drip. I just strongly urge the drops. I only say that because I bought the bottle. I used it for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I could have continued to use it. I just didn't. I'm kind
I'm
of
gonna
lazy that way.
I'm gonna look for
And I have
sublingual.
a feeling that you could try sublingual. These drops also may be able to be, it's a liquid
Yeah,
extract. I just
exactly.
encourage the,
I always do that. I take everything sublingually if I'm gonna take it like in liquid form.
Who's this imposter Chris in the comments? Like, there's an imposter Chris. I hear talking to some Rebecca. I don't even know her Rebecca. I don't see Rebecca in the comments. Like, who are you?
I'm Rebecca.
Oh,
I'm
you're
Rebecca.
Where are you looking?
Yeah.
Chris,
just
where are you
teasing.
looking at?
At the comments. I'm just.
No, I'm
teasing.
just saying.
I'm
I'm not seeing it. Am I missing comments? Are you?
Maybe you are. I don't know.
That's what I need to figure out. Like,
there's a comment from
where?
Chris that says Rebecca hi, and then there's
Oh, I just
zero.
noticed it. Yeah, but oh my God, how did you even catch that? Wow. All right, yeah, that's other Chris.
Yeah,
and other
I'm not
Rebecca.
actually dissing
No.
you, dude. I'm just being a dick.
Not other.
I just trying
Oh, I
to.
forgot you're
talking
you're
now.
getting full right now. I forgot.
Scotch time. All right, now I could show you guys what I just bought, and it's liquid, and it's this brand called Quantum Select or Quantum Health. It's called Quantum Health.
That sounds
Super
trustworthy.
lysine immune support liquid extract. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot. Thank you for telling me
That's
about
the one
this.
I just sent you. Yep, that's the one I think I just sent you.
Really?
Yep, I just put the link in the back. Yep, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I really hope that helps
Holy
you, Busker.
shit!
I really do.
How is this possible? This is like a really crazy coincidence because I have this pulled up myself. Holy shit. That is just bizarre.
That's some synchronicity shit for you right there.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. This is fucking awesome.
I love synchronicity. Synchronicity is like the world's like way of like, like of putting things in order for us occasionally.
Yeah,
putting things in
that's
perspective.
sublingual B12 like that. That's
It probably means nothing, but at the same time, like I choose to believe it means something because I'd rather believe it means something than not.
Why that? Why believe something? What do you get out of believing something just to believe it, even if it's not true or not? There's some other reason people adopt beliefs, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. And it's this right here.
It's more fun.
More fun. Okay, that's what I was saying. Like, it just makes life more interesting, or dramatic, or magical, or whatever.
It just makes life more
So
interesting.
if you could opt for like the actual version of reality versus the fictionalized version,
yeah, no, I mean, there's
most people are going to choose the fictionalized
no
version because
conscious
it's more exciting
or real reason.
But here's my problem: when people are speaking from that fictionalized version, they're speaking as if they're passing it off as truth. That's where it.
Well,
the dissonance happens in my brain.
Let me make the statement like with my hand, my hand up to swear. Like, I do not believe that it is definitely.
I know you say that, and I have the information, and it's filed away. But outside of that, it looks identical to somebody who actually believes. Like, I can't, on a practical day-to-day level, my brain can't tell the difference. So I take you as.
Okay, well, I'm
seriously somebody like the humor doesn't come across. If you have to footnote it like that, the humor doesn't come across. It comes across. It's so deadpan that it comes across identical to somebody that actually does believe that.
Well, I am notorious for really, really strong deadpan. So most of my humor is too deadpan.
And so a lot of the conversations we have where we fight and argue about this stuff, I can't tell that it's not something you're serious about.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, and like my deadpan has got me in serious trouble in many times in many situations. My deadpan is way too good for I mean, it's for being
It really
deadpan.
throws me off as an autistic person for sure.
I understand.
Because it sends double like the little bit of body language I can pick up, somebody having no body language at all is an obvious version, and it sends a very different signal than the content that you're saying.
Yeah, I get that. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's not.
That
I
is a
think that
Apologize
failing.
for.
That's a failing of my neurodivergence and how it manifests itself. My deadpan is far too deadpan to be. Um, you're going kind of way back in the comments there to pull that one up, but yeah, we are all trolls. But I mean, I didn't really mean it as a troll comment. At the same time, like I mean, I mean it in the sense that you know what it makes if I do believe, I mean, the placebo effect is real. The placebo effect is real, and if you believe in it,
But that's
for
the thing.
some,
Like, if you know it's the police, it doesn't work anymore. Like, if you know, if you have to consciously pretend it's a placebo, that it neutralizes the.
I'll tell you something about the placebo effect. All right, with what I'm having with this methyl B12, there's no getting out of your neurological problems. So there's nothing you can do with your brain. You can't fool yourself into it. There's no way it's possible. So I know that this stuff is helping me. I know it. So Chris, you
there
can't
you go.
tell me it's not working because I think it is for real. I know it is. I fucking couldn't move my leg without having tremors like a motherfucker trying to push out the rubber band. I just about gave up.
Like I said,
Start-
I'm an official Bookhouse Boys member, so I'm an investigator of the paranormal. So
This isn't
I investigate owl
paranormal.
caves. So
This isn't paranormal.
yeah, that I swear I poured 1 ounce. I very specifically, I know what an ounce looks like in this thing. I poured 1 ounce of that whiskey. I am
I know
it,
this
that
is drunk Chris night.
this is drunk.
I've seen you
Chris.
like
This
this a
really is.
few times. Like, I think during the holidays, you did a
Whew,
little bit of partying
man,
with
I
us.
did not expect it. That's the first. That's the
I
first I've
did the minute you started
taken.
pouring and saying how how small it is, and how only a few little sips. I'm like, yep, this is the minimizing right here. It's gonna turn out to be the opposite of this.
Well, it was a birthday
I'm from
present, and
Louisiana. I know all the
I thought
patterns of alcohol drinking.
if there was a time to bring it out, it would be like on the panel. I thought it would be like I didn't really I didn't expect it to hit me this
if you
hard.
want,
I even diluted it a
No,
little
it's
bit. So
content. I think we should have drunk Chris night weekly.
I want to have. I was just gonna say, when I resurrect the Bexx Factor from her hidden tomb, because I have my channel entombed, all my wrenches and all my subs are trapped in there. They're trapped.
Oh,
When
it's
I
just
bring it
like
out,
put
one
on
of the things that
pause.
you can hide your channel. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So I'm almost on 5 weeks hidden.
Hey, I want to
Yeah.
sub to
So
your channel, Bex. I really
here, I'll
appreciate
tell you, I
you.
can put the handle in. I can put the handle in there if you want
Oh, cool.
in
That's
chat.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
And then that way, when I bring up my big channel, this is just my alt. So you'll be my like 35th sub, but then you'll be
Okay.
up to know when I have my main channel up.
if
But one of my things
you,
I want to do is I'm going to advertise Bexx is getting drunk in public.
Oh,
And I'm going to have a drinking
there's
panel.
probably a whole genre
know?
of that by now.
Well, you know what? Like
There is.
I pretty much quit drinking, but I can deal with Guinness, and that's fine these days. I can just have a couple Guinness.
I
And then,
used to love Guinness. It's so filling, though. I can't drink very much of it. I can drink like maybe a third of a pint of Guinness before like I can't drink anymore.
yeah,
That's
it's
the
not
reason
like
why I switched. That's the reason I switched to because like my stomach pouch is so small. Like I just like I like an
yeah,
ounce of whiskey is like that's the most I can take.
yeah, that's all.
So, and it'll wear off quickly. I'll be sober like within the next 30 minutes. But
I can't imagine that because I usually drink myself to sleep until I crash. You know, that's the way I used to do it. You know, fucking.
Drink till you pass out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I drink hard liquor for a long time. I quit drinking Guinness because I was in love with that shit, and it was getting me really
Guinness,
fat too.
Guinness when it's really cold, when it's out of the tap, and it's really cold and really good. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah,
Especially like a
but
black and tan.
it's not like it used to be. In 1999, they changed the fucking recipe. They changed the
They did?
labels. Yeah, and I knew the
I haven't had it in
recipe.
ages.
Oh my god, the extra stout and the draft. It used to be so fucking good.
Oh, that's
And
so
I
disappointing.
fucking I didn't drink anything else. I quit drinking any other beer and I just drank Guinness. So I did gain some weight. I got to up to 230 pounds. But like fucking then they changed it and I was just like paying the same amount for it. I'm thinking, oh my God, what has Ireland done to fucking American Guinness, dude? And so I fucking switched to whiskey and I was doing nothing but whiskey after that for many years.
I've heard that if you go to Ireland, you go to the Guinness factory, they will give you Guinness like straight from like
Yeah, I bet
their
it's
thing.
a fuckload better, man.
I've heard that if you get the Guinness straight from the factory, that it's amazing. But
I've
like
been,
I don't have any proof for that. I've never been out of the country, so
yeah, I mean, I've been to
Have you
England,
tried
but the stuff they make for England is pretty shitty. I gotta tell you. Sorry, go ahead, Bex.
I was just gonna say, have you tried any porters?
Yeah,
Like,
some America. I used to drink, back in the day, I drink porter. Uh, back in the.
we have some amazing porters here in Texas that are made like locally and like but still they're like I mean they're so thick they're like you have to chew them. You know, they're like eating steak. They're not
Yeah.
even like drinks. They
Oh,
really are.
that's
I
They are
enough.
like a
so
sleeve
thick.
of a good porter
Well, like Guinness
when
extra
I'm
stout
hungry.
must be like eating a steak. Holy shit! Like the extra stout's like the thicker, that even thicker than the draft, like the pub draft stuff.
I can't remember the name of the stout that we have here that I've had, but we have this vanilla stout, but by this one company that's here that's it's local
Mm.
and it is it's delicious, but I mean like seriously, like even before I had the surgery, like it was like half a pint was like all I could take. Like it was just like so thick and so it would just sit in your stomach.
Oh,
Like it
dude,
was good, but it was just so thick. I mean, it
yeah,
was just like it
because
was
of your surgery and like you had your like real tiny stomach going on.
yeah, now I could drink like a shot of it, you know. But and you know, but if I'm trying to kill the reason only reason I drink alcohol at all is because I have enormous amounts of back pain. And the whiskey is the only whiskey or mezcal are the only things that really kill the back pain and
Oh,
let
I
me
can
sleep. So
understand that. That's for sure. Like it is a painkiller for damn sure. And
well, I can't for whatever reason. Like they, even though they did clear me to get pain management treatment, they still have yet to set up an appointment for me to actually go and actually get the pain management treatment. So
Are you following up with them?
yeah, but I mean,
No.
like I follow up with them on the my. The only thing I have is the My Chart app, and like I haven't gotten any responses. But
You haven't
I
got a response from my chart?
no, I haven't.
What's wrong with those people?
Do the Parkland system because I'm on the Parkland like
Okay, then you
PFA
need a
plan.
backup. You need a supervisor number or a patient have something in your
Yeah, I
pocket.
probably do. So I just got a letter
I
today from I did get a letter today from SSI from the actually from the judge of my case that said that if they don't get any further they don't get any further evidence or anything else in the next 10 days that she will issue her judgment. And so therefore hopefully I'm waiting I got to wait like 10 more days and hopefully I will actually get a judgment on the case and like maybe I'll actually have the disability and then maybe I can actually get some help. So that would be amazing. So
Yeah.
Because like I don't even care about the money at this point. Like I'm really just like just getting the Medicaid thing taken care of. If I can just get on the medical insurance, maybe they can find an actual like something that actually can fix the vertigo, because
I
there
thought they
are
were
certain
already working on that. They had sent you to some doctors.
they did. That doctor was like, "Oh, I can't do anything for you." They sent me back to the neurologist, which they set that appointment out 3 months from now. So,
Oh, so you
um,
haven't gone to the next step yet.
yeah, for the neurologist. But if I get the Medicaid thing like that, then that's because I'm in the Parkland plan,
I
and
mean, Medicaid's not going to be much faster, but at least you'll have more options.
I can with the Medicaid plan I could go into a doctor and I can say I have the Medicaid thing, the card, and they will
Yeah, but that doesn't
actually.
mean they're going to see you that day. It still may be a month or 2 or 3 out, is what I'm saying.
It might, but like I'm more hopeful with that than I was with the other thing. But in any case, but like I mean, like they literally said like the thing is that literally like with the surgeries that they can do for the vertigo, they're very invasive and very dangerous, and
I can imagine.
they pretty much told me that it's pretty much said that like if I get one of the surgeries, like I will lose hearing in the ear, and I'm like I'm all for it. I will take one ear of hearing. I would
I thought they were
I
going to
would
hang
be
you upside down and spin you around and
yeah
reset your
that's never
crystals.
been mentioned by any of them. I literally told the doctor I was like you know what like if you told me that you could cure my vertigo by cutting off my legs, I would take that. I would rather have no legs than have vertigo. And they were like, well, that's not an option. I mean, obviously it's not an option, but like but still, that's how desperate I am to get rid of vertigo. So
Oh my God, man.
Have
Yeah,
you like gone on message boards and see what other people with vertigo have tried and worked? And
I know what
I
it's
have,
like, and it
I have.
fucking sucks. I mean, like I'm lucky that I have to take 2 Dramamine, but it does the trick. But
Shoot, dude,
sometimes
I
I
wish it
have
was
it
the case.
like it
I like I have the what's it called? It's not Dramamine doesn't do shit for me, but it's the meclizine. The
meclizine.
meclizine, and
Yeah,
it reduces the vertigo for about 15 minutes or so. But the
and then it
problem
comes.
is that when it wears off, it comes back 10 times stronger.
Holy
So like
shit, man!
I don't use that unless it's like it's an emergency type thing. I take the meclizine if I have to if I have to get to the hospital and I have to drive, I will take the vertigo. I will take the meclizine. But
Damn,
and
dude.
I'm getting better, after all these years with it. I am getting better at dealing with it on a daily basis. It's
So
still not safe,
how
but
many years has this been going on now?
close to 4.
Holy shit, man! So yeah, so you had that injury, and man, I'm sorry that happened to you, bro.
It's okay, man. I have accepted it. I'm not bitter about it like I used to be really bitter about it. But I'm not bitter about it anymore.
I'd be bitter as fuck.
I am thankful for what I have, despite like everything that's been going wrong in my life lately. I feel like I've been like beset by like one setback after another lately, but I still feel a feeling of thankfulness for the community and for the help that I have received, and I'm very I don't know. Like I have moments of weakness whenever I'm just like fuck everything. I give up, I don't want I have those moments of weakness, but at the same time, overall my actual attitude towards all this is very much like, I am thankful for what I have, and I'm thankful for the support I have, and I believe that there is a path forward, and I believe that that life is not going to be like this forever. So
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry, man. Like, cause I've just recently have like really experienced vertigo for the first time in like a real hardcore, and man,
it
I've
is
had it.
bad, dude.
Oh, dude, I've had it before, but nothing like recently, man. Like, I'm guessing it's the MS, or maybe I call it some spike protein or some shit. I don't know, But like either way, vertigo sucks dick, man.
It seems like it seems like it's a stupid thing too. Like whenever you hear vertigo, you think, oh, you get dizzy every now and then, and you
Oh,
don't
it's
really think
worse.
much about it. You know,
It's
it doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world, but whenever you have like whenever you're like walking, just like you're just walking from where I'm sitting right now to the door,
yeah.
and like you feel fine, you get up, you don't feel fine, you don't feel like the vertigo, and all of a sudden you get to the door, around the doorway, and it's like the floor falls out from underneath you and you just fall, and like it's just like it's
Do you know it's happening before it happens, or are you just on the floor?
I've never had
it's
that,
very sudden, it's very
dude.
sudden.
That's not like I've never heard of that kind of vertigo. The kind that I have, it's just like I'm dizzy as fuck.
I have that all
Chris
the
has the
time.
break ribs and
I have
teeth
the
kind.
dizziness all the time. I'm always dizzy, but sometimes like the dizziness gets to like this like extreme degree where it feels like the floor falls out from underneath me.
Oh my
And that's when I
god, dude!
fall
So
and that's when I
you
usually injure
got it
myself. But
hardcore, man. I can't. I'm
yeah.
sorry, man. That's gotta be hell.
It's really scary with stairs.
Yeah,
How we
holy
have
shit.
stairs in my house. That's the scariest part is going up and down the stairs. I hold on to the railings like really tightly. I'm like really I'm like walking down like the thing like the railings because like I'm super scared of like falling down the stairs
So
because like
you're just
Um,
standing up and you have this sensation of the floor falling, and then you actually fall. It's all
yeah.
spontaneous
Yeah,
falling, like the fainting
I mean,
goat.
it's like I'm already dizzy, but like I can compensate, but then like it hits me really hard, and then it's just like it feels like the world just goes like this,
yeah,
and then it's like, and then but you're trying to like stay straight up, but when you're trying to stay straight up, the world feels like it's going like this, so you end up going down,
I feel
right?
dizzy already.
Yeah.
Chris, have you ever I don't know if you'd be able to afford it. Maybe I don't know if insurance would cover it or not, but maybe a chairlift on your stairs might help.
Like in Gremlins.
The next place we move to, where I'm not going to have stairs, so I'm not worried about that right
Yeah, like
now.
just one. I think that's where I'm going after this. I mean, I've lived here for 20 since 2003, so 21 years. And
Well, whenever the disability, which I mean, it's already been pretty much guaranteed. The lawyer told me that everything is good on the disability. Like I was really surprised that I actually got it, but they said the disability is good. So I'm once that comes through, like
yeah,
we're gonna be moving and stuff like
that'll
that. Like and we're gonna get a one floor place,
yeah,
so it'll be okay.
disability should help you cover like if any kind of needs for whatever they can
Well,
help you
I
out.
mean, because it's been so long, because it's been so long, we have a lot of back pay, so there'll be like one big check, and I really hope
That's
to use
good.
that to try to like to do something good for the community and also for like
Use it
for
to
our
do
life.
something good for your own ass
Yeah.
right now. You are trying to stabilize. Quit worrying about other people right now. This you are in a situation where you need to have all of your focus on you. The community will be here, and you will come back stronger and more able to contribute to it than you can if you try to do that at the same time that you try to save your own ass.
You're right, Jeff. You're absolutely right.
And the sentiment is beautiful and noble, but I'm just trying to be practical
No,
and
you're
help
right.
you get to
You are
shore.
right. You are right, and I hope that when the time comes, I will heed your advice and I won't ignore it.
Well, we'll see.
I am a notorious self sabotager when it comes to
I
like
see
trying to
that.
like
Oh my
help.
God, I've been watching that for a year.
I am so bad
Just
at
don't get
like
it on
at
my stream. That's all. Keep
no I mean
keep it
like no
compartmentalized because you do really good with the stream.
having two little girls like does it does refocus the uh the priorities a lot. So I mean that helps a lot in terms of like keeping me focused on making sure that they're taken care of. So that's a big thing. So you know, and like and Texarkana is like is like my nightmare to some degree, but at the same time, like I said, like my parents have like this open building and stuff like that. So I am gonna try to use that that resource to try to like just like I'll stream from there some, and maybe make a small version of like my open source studio thing with like maybe with all these old laptops I'm fixing up. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but like make like a place that people can go to and stuff like that, even in that tiny little town, and maybe that'll be a good place to start. And I want something. I want to leave. If something happens to me, I want my daughters to have something to move forward with. You know what I mean? Because like because tomorrow isn't promised, no matter what. Like with the vertigo type thing, there is no day that goes by that, no matter how careful I am, that I couldn't fall and break my neck.
Yeah,
That is.
that's what I don't think you should be doing half the stuff that you're doing until they get that
But I
figured
don't have a
out.
choice. I
I
don't have a
know, but
choice.
it's well, I don't know about the don't have a choice thing. I'm not there in person, but I suspect there are some options.
If there are, I'm not aware of them.
I know that's because you're
Lindsay has been trying really hard lately, and she is like, like all the medication and everything she's on to keep for the schizophrenia, it really does, like, it wears her down really fast. She's got like 2 or 3 good hours a day where
Chris,
she's
you
like
are
really good.
juggling way too many balls, and not just little plastic balls, giant like atlas-sized globes, and you're doing it by yourself with absolutely no support while you deal with your own issues at the same time. Like that is only going to go so far. That's not sustainable long term, and there's going to be a collapse somewhere at some point if you don't stabilize.
You're right. And I agree with you. I don't know what else to say about that.
And the solution is the minimum solution that some of us can is getting you that support, so at least you're not juggling alone. We can't juggle the balls for you, but
Yeah.
we can give you that little bit of support that lets you get through it so that you don't burn out.
Oh, come on. You guys won't juggle my balls for me?
Well, I'll let someone else volunteer for that one, but I can coach
I'm
from
sorry.
the
I
sidelines.
couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. It was too like right there in front of me. I couldn't help it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I always my mind doesn't work on that level, so that happens all the time where I throw it out there. I don't see it, but the people with more common sensibilities catch that low hanging fruit.
I am a
Twigs and
master of
berries.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
I will say
that low hanging round shaped fruit.
Oh man, what time is it? It's 4 in
I
the
don't know.
morning.
It's
Shit.
2 in the morning over here. It's probably we
It's
still got to do
4
the stream
here.
later too.
It
Oh,
is
by the
4
way,
in
I
the
can only
morning
do
here.
2 hours today because I have work after that. So that's partly why I did the stream tonight was to make up for
Well,
only being able to do a brief one today.
I want to say Busker and
Yeah.
Bexx, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you guys. I love
Yes.
speaking to both of you.
Can
You're both
confirm.
great people. I don't understand why everyone says Bexx is a troll and everything.
Well, you know what? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? I'm just saying, like, I think you guys are both great. And I'm gonna step off because it is 4 in the morning and I should get some sleep before I try to get up and try to do things in the morning. So I'm gonna step off right now. But it's been a really pleasure talking to you, and of course it's been a pleasure talking to Jeff, as it always is. And I have love for you all. I know that love is a strong word, but I actually, and I always hate it when YouTubers say that. At the same time, I actually feel love for you people, and that's something that I never
back
expected
at
to
you.
happen. I never expected when I started doing any of this stuff. I never expected to actually feel what I identify as love for the people that come to the panels, but I really do. And so I want to thank you all for coming on, and I'm gonna say good night now. But good night, everybody. I love you all,
Good night.
and have a great night.
And
Good night,
rest
Chris.
easy,
Right
my
back
friend.
at you.
Be careful on the steps.
Yeah, just go straight to the bed.
I have to be told that because sometimes I'm not careful. I'm fucking careless.
You have steps too, or stairs?
Yeah, stairs. I can go down them and up them, but like, oh God, it's just hard to explain now. I mean, I can do it, but by the time I'm get done to the whole ritual and I get back to my room, I am just completely like it's like I've been running a marathon or some shit
Oh.
as a normal person, like fucking crazy shit. But I can't wait to try out this. What's it called? Lu- what?
Lysine.
Lysine. Yeah, I'm gonna mix that. I'll have it the same exact time I have my daily uh, drops of B12 underneath my tongue. I'll mix it.
I would have a drink of water after between the
Oh
two, just in
yeah,
case there's a bit of yeah.
yeah. I mean, like
Uh,
yeah, like I usually like I kind of have to chase it a little bit just to get the. Sometimes it doesn't taste too bad if it's a good brand, but I mean this might have some taste to it that I might not like. But yeah, I'll definitely be drinking some water for sure.
I have a good feeling about it too. A
Yeah,
very good feeling.
this
And
well, I gotta say, like,
just remember that the body has amazing capacities. You know, uh they used to actually really write off a lot of stuff that neuroplasticity has really changed the way they see things, right? Like the medical, and by they I mean the medical institution, right? Like,
yeah.
so, you know, there's a lot more healing can happen. The body's pretty freaking miraculous. Not to mention, you know, with your diagnosis, remission is possible, right?
Well, I gotta say, I'm primary progressive, so I think I'm pretty much fucked. But I mean, I think I have hope for that, like something to help, like a little treatment, because I could find stuff
But
early on that did help, and I could tell the
this
difference
is what I'll tell
between.
you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I interrupted. You keep going,
I was just said
please.
I could tell the difference between a placebo effect and fucking something that's really helping. It was something I took
Mhm.
a long time ago when I first got diagnosed, and I had some flare up real bad, and I was having trouble with all kinds of shit. And then I found this acetylglucosamine because I read that they took and used it on rats with the animal model of MS.
Mhm.
And so the rats, they fucking showed like that they were walking again. So I took that and man, it
Mhm.
works. But after a while, it just like, when you're deteriorating with the MS, like nothing, there's a lot of things that you cannot, it won't do shit. I had other supplements that really did help, and certain vitamins would help, but they don't do like they used to. And, um,
I I wanted to say a couple of things. I read from a book called The Medusa and the Snail. I call it my very boring book, and I read the same papers over and over again during live streams. And I'm gonna
Medusa,
eventually. I
man,
just it's a book called it's a series of philosophy and medicine papers that
really?
an allopathic doctor put into that were published in medical journals in the 70s,
Ah,
by a
oh shit.
retired physician, just as the leisure reading for the in the medical journal, right? Now
Wow,
that
so
being
it's just for
said,
entertainment, but like it's got some truth
but
to
it's
it, right?
philosophical, and he's a brilliant writer, and I like I said, I read them over and over. So
Yeah.
I want to tell you a couple of things that I've gleaned from the book that can be helpful for you. One of the reasons the doctors, they know this, one of the reasons one of the aspects that makes medicine effective, or anything that we take into our body and believe, right, is the confidence with which authority gives us the instruction. So this doctor's not nullifying the science behind the medicine that he practiced. What he's saying is the confidence of the doctor asserting this will help you, right, amplifies that, because we're not, all our bodies aren't the same. We're not cookie cutters, you know? And one of the reasons that we struggle with some of, say, the misinformation that's happened in the last few years is that these institutions made the, you know, they've made claims that they know everything almost. Like, I just mean like they understand systems that are
they're all
still
I've never
being
seen
understood.
that claim.
they're full. They're
They
full.
were
of,
very.
Say that again, because I'll
they
say that
pull,
again.
they tried to pull one on us. They're all.
I've
full of-
never seen an official representative of any institution come out and say we know everything. We believe we know everything.
No, okay,
but
you're
they
right.
thought
So
they did.
let me say that it's asserted to us in a way that we, the layman, your average person, will actually think that the answer they have is set. You know, that they know the answer because they say it with confidence. But just like physics, they're always, you know, just like, you know, the macro world, they're always also learning about the micro world. They haven't even mapped the lymphatic system in our bodies. It's so tiny. It runs next to every single vein, every single capillary, you know, like, or if I, yeah, did I get that right?
Capillary.
Yeah. Capillary. So what I was just going to say is that the placebo effect's not a negative thing. Placebo effect is saying that there was good out of just the doctor saying, take this sugar pill. Right.
Yeah.
So what's
Kinda
happened for
like-
you with some of these things is what's called the nocebo effect, where medication isn't helping you. Right.
Absolutely.
So what I'm trying to say is
yeah.
that the same thing goes with diagnoses. You know, if you think back to what happened in the 80s with the tragedy that I've heard Jeff talk about, how many people in his life he lost. It was so strange that they would come out with an illness that they could say it's incurable. Like they just came out, you know? So,
You talking
and
about
then
in the
now we
80s
sit,
or
yeah,
recently?
yeah, with the
Well, they
HIV,
never said it was
you know, like,
incurable. We always thought that eventually there'd be a cure. We just needed the funding to find one.
what was the word they used then that made it seem so, I know it was highly transmutable or transmittable, relatively speaking, but not as much as the paranoia of the people. My point to this is just saying that I had I'll say it more in a more personal way. I had a car accident when I was 22, and they had to go in and put some stitches in my lower intestine. And when they do that, they have to touch all your insides, right? They have to move everything around, and just touching that stuff can cause scar tissue and adhesions that made me have some like basically granny problems when I was intimate. I everything would just kind of afterwards, my whole digestive system would have problems just from the inflammation. And so when I went to the doctor to talk about this, they'd say to me, oh, well, you know, you might suffer from this forever. Right. And so they, you know, and I thought to myself for a while that was true, but things needed to heal. And I thought to myself, if I take that attitude, if I definitely believe that it's not going to, then it may not, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, if I definitely say for sure, you know, so I know we're dealing with something way more serious and way, you know, way more explicitly testable with your condition, you know?
Yeah, this is like never
so it's
something
not the same.
This is like something I never ever imagined. Like when I was younger, I could never imagine the life I'm living and have been living. Shit. You know,
I
like
like how accurate. I like the accuracy, Jeff's. I like the accuracy you keep on things, Jeff, with your keen observation, and I'm assuming it's your own personal need for things to be clear and delineated.
Yeah, things have to make
and,
sense, and when sense breaks down, I start to get there. That's when my anxiety starts to kick in.
Thank you, Chuck. I will be careful. So I was just going to say with even just with the title of what you've been told, I would just encourage you to focus on, I'll bring out that book and I'll read some of them, or even find the Medusa and the Snail and read it yourself. It'll be online. But read it cover to cover.
Yeah.
There's a few in there that get kind of technical and might be boring, but most of it is, most of it's really good.
The thing is, I have to have it audio because I have optic neuritis so bad that reading is just a real fucking.
Excellent.
I can
Then
read,
you've
but
given me incentive.
I'm sorry.
I can even, depending on what I do with my channel, I can even upload to this channel. Just
If you
reading
could,
it on a video.
like if you could read it, or somebody like if you could find a read of it, whatever, I could listen.
There's
to
probably
it.
it's probably out there.
Yeah, that's right. I could, just listen to some good shit. Always looking for something. I never have nothing to do. I haven't left my house since January.
Of this year?
Yep. It was to go to an appointment. Not even to go to a party, none of that. Didn't go to any Christmas parties. Like, this has been like this for about 4 years now, 5.
Same here. I love it, actually. COVID was like the best thing that ever happened, or lockdown, rather.
Me too.
But I've been
Me
living
too.
that way
I've
ever
been
since.
training. Yeah, I've been training for this my whole life. And so
Me
when
too.
it first happened, I was like, bring it on.
That's for fucking sure, man. Like I've got practice. I've got fucking tons of practice because I just have like, it's not even it's not even agoraphobia. It's the agoraphobia of what, how much of a pain in the ass it would be to leave my house. So
yeah, I mean that's understandable.
like I just don't really go anywhere anymore. I don't have any desire to. The drugs they put me on, I've been on clonazepam for 14 years.
Oh my God. Like
Milligram
regularly or as needed?
every single day.
Oh wow.
And it's not just because of anxiety. See, I've got that, but I've got this other problems with the MS where I have an abdominal spasm that squeezes like a bear hugging you, if you can imagine that, in a neurological fashion. So they call it the MS hug, in fact. And that would set off panic attacks to the point where I felt like I was leaving my body. Like I would
Wow.
imagine what I imagined dying a slow death was like.
That's what they feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't had one since I've been on benzos, but like first I was on Xanax, but that's the fucking real devil of benzos. Holy shit. Xanax. I was getting into snorting it for a while.
Oh my God. What led to that?
Yeah, that was fucking like 2015 or 16 or something like that.
They have the tabs that dissolve under your tongue that work
I
instantly.
didn't know they made them like dissolvable. The ones I got, they were like blue pills, and they were the generics, and
Yeah.
whatever they called the generic Xanax. They had a certain name.
As starts with A.
It's got some different name.
Azalapram or something like that.
Yeah, it's some sort of benzo name. It's got a Pam on it.
Alprazolam.
Yeah, or lamb, Pam or lamb, and like, yeah, I shouldn't be taking this every single day, but there's no going back at this point.
Well, are you working with a doctor or a prescriber to monitor all of your medications?
Absolutely, with my therapist. I mean, he knows what's going on with me, and I know what's going on with me. I'm very self-aware of what's going on with my body, especially just I've gotten lots and lots of practice.
Yeah, I imagine.
And man, I'll tell you what, and if there was something really wrong, the only problem I would have is if the supply chain dried up and there was no more to be had, then I would be dead. No shit.
Yeah, but that, like, what are the chances of that? That statistically almost never happens. You'd probably be okay.
It's one of those little thoughts in the back of my head, though. It's not like something I stress over. But like it's one of those little thoughts in my head, like, what if
Yeah, but the more you feed it, the more impact it's going to have on you, especially if it's not in the realm of probability.
feed what?
That thought.
I don't feed that thought. It's one of these thoughts that I've had in the past. Like if there was a time when I was a little freaked out, like early on with the pandemic, when things are like, I don't know, it was something I thought maybe something could go wrong with the prescriptions and shit. But then I got over that. I'm cool. But if it ever happens, I'll have to figure something else out. I don't know what it would be. Honestly, I don't know. I remember there was one time I was 48 hours without clonazepam, and that was a long, long time ago. And 48 hours without it, that was
Were you going into withdrawals by then?
yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't even keep the pill down. I was puking it up. And I think also it was partially bad that I drank a whole bunch of Bolt House Farms smoothie, green
oh
tea.
my God! Well, that you just that alone, you don't
Well,
even need the
yeah, I
lot of
drank
it
a whole
factored
bunch of it,
in.
but like I definitely was having withdrawal though. I kept puking. I couldn't pick it up and swallow it anymore. So like I just ate it. I just chewed it up and then it went down. I know that's gross, but TMI time. Shit. No, but like I'm good.
Well, good.
The one thing though, I'll tell you, man, since 2007, mostly since 2008, I've been on a massive amount of muscle relaxants. And at first, started with 3 cyclobenzaprines a day. That's Flexeril, and 3 baclofens a day. And I don't know if that's a generic, if that's the actual name.
I remember Soma. That was the one everybody passed around at parties. I have no idea why.
See, I've
All it
heard
did
of,
was make everybody sleepy.
I've heard, yeah, it makes you tired as
It
shit.
makes your body feel like rubbery, like
Yeah,
floaty and rubbery.
it doesn't
And then
do
you,
any.
of course, we were mixing with alcohol and painkillers and weed and all kind of other
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So I
man.
don't know exactly what
I would
band
love
was
to.
just that pill.
I see. I got to the point where I was addicted to enough to that stuff that like I e- I loved going downtown, and I knew I'd have to take my pills before I left because I would feel like shit and not want to play at all because my mind has been taken over by that drug. And like that picture there, that's me in Fells Point with some chick, and I was probably on benzos, marijuana, and alcohol.
Which that's you in the back, the little head.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
hopefully
fucking.
not the front.
That was probably like 2015, 16, 14, something like that.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
those were the days. Yeah, man.
Um,
I like
yeah.
that girl. Like her friend. It was this dude. He had this camera, and he wanted to take some video of me. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, man. See, I'm kind of tipsy by then. Like I had about a shorty's worth of booze and a little pot. All it took back then, all it took was this one little puff, and that was that. And fucking, I was like, all right, I'll fucking, you can take video of me, but she's got to sit on my lap. There's a video on my fucking YouTube of her on sitting on my lap, and I play the accordion on her lap. I shit you not,
Oh, that's where that's from.
playing accordion on a girl's lap. Yeah, yeah, that chick, that was fun.
That's fun. So you were like hugging around her while you played the accordion.
Yeah, and
Is that what I'm?
I did a very good job not to fondle her. I told her I'm not gonna fondle you. See, I was tipsy. You could tell I'm tipsy. I'm not gonna fondle you. I'm just gonna play the accord or whatever I said, and No, I said I'm just gonna fondle my accordion or something.
Did she freak out and
No,
get
she's like,
offended and
oh,
have a
that's what you're gonna. That's how. Well, that's what you do, or something like that. You have to see it. Like, I don't know if you can pull it up or not. Shit, it's kind of a
yeah,
weird
you are
page.
if you have a link. Let's see. I'm on your page now.
Yeah, if you look in the
What's your will I find you if I just search Be More Busker?
Here, I'll
so
put
I
his
can
link.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
my page, and there's a playlist with all the shit from Fells Point. I did so many fucking videos like that people took of us. I guess we
So
got 22 really good ones. We got a bunch more than that though.
were
Go
you
ahead.
had you received a diagnosis at that point at all?
Yeah, like in 2007, and like I still kept going though. Like there was I had to really adjust the way I did things, like go to the bathroom, like urinating, because my bladder's like, oh god, retention, urinary neurogenic retention, and I don't know. I don't I don't want to tell you what I used to have to do because I don't know if you'll sleep well.
Yeah. Well, we could watch this.
I can tell you this much. My mom was an ER nurse and my dad GP. When it comes to medical stuff, that was dinner table conversations for us. So
Well, I used to
not that
like
you need to
in,
share the information at this point.
yeah, yeah, not in that place,
Yeah.
but in Brick Oven Pizza right next door across the street. I'd have to go in there and I'd have to squat down and pee on some fucking because I had to get to the lowest point of the floor to get it to move. That's how bad it's been.
Yeah.
And like it's not no going back. And I keep having to change it, and defecating gets it out. I push it out real good with taking a shit.
What's gonna make better content, that or if we watch this?
Yeah, put
You
this
go
on,
play
man.
it.
This is
Okay,
fun, man.
let's try
I haven't seen this in a while.
Is that what you call it now?
He's pretty weird. I'm
I
telling
said I'm
Good thing
gonna
that's your
fondle my
son.
accordion.
All
I
right.
said I'm not gonna fondle you.
I'm gonna do this. I'm doing it.
All right.
Look at what's
Don't
that.
take a shit on my knee.
I am gonna shit
Oh
on
my
your
god!
knee.
You look like you're trying to take a shit.
The same content.
Move your arm.
I
Be
do.
nice.
Shouldn't
All
I?
right. All right. Now.
Can I start asking for Christmas presents if I'm sitting on
Yes.
someone's
There's
knee?
Santa Claus. All right. Hold on. I'll play lemonade song.
Is she crying?
Yeah,
She's traumatized. What are you doing to her?
she's laughing, dude.
No. This is good.
She has no clue what
Skill.
page it is.
Have a woman on your lap and play the accordion with your father in a crowded.
That's your dad?
Yeah.
I'm beyond comfortable. This is a whole different thing.
Man, she could what a role model. People could take a lesson.
Yeah.
It comes in a package. It's a package deal.
That's a draw.
You should.
The only problem with this was you talked the whole time.
I'm sorry.
I love
I'm sorry. That's usually the problem.
Although, like, that's the outtake.
That's really good Cajun music.
All right.
That was
I thought you might like
there's
that.
more. Hang on.
There's plenty more, man. There's so many videos.
That was a charming video. There's more. I didn't realize there's a sequel.
Yeah, she kind of just yeah.
Look at you playing with the cigarette hanging off your lip.
I used to do that all the time, man.
She would fit right in Louisiana. Right in. She's quite the little performer. That's the way to do it. Yep, yep. Let me hold that for you, sir. Pop.
She puts it back in my mouth.
And you would. This is one of the most entertaining things I've seen on YouTube in a while. This has everything all in one place: comedy, Cajun music, fun, everything I love. 2 thumbs up.
Cheers, man.
Big
Cheers.
thumbs up.
Thank you.
Hey, Moose.
I appreciate that, my friend.
So check out Busker's channel for more content like that. I had that's gonna be one of my new favorite follows.
I miss all the people from down there, like the regulars in that bar that's now closed because everything
Mhm.
that's gone, and I miss all those people.
Life before COVID.
Right? I mean, shit. I mean, at least one time I could have gone busking in 2020 or something. Shit. And then everything went to hell with my MS at that time. So I was like,
So that
fuck.
all happened at the same time.
Exactly. Like my
Oh, you
walking
got
got
hit.
so much worse in 2020.
You and Chris both. Like COVID really, that was like a
But I didn't take
meteorite.
the jab. That bitch, not bitch, the neurologist chick tried to talk me into taking a jab. Well, there's people all taking the jab, and they have your disease, and it's okay. It's like, no, I'm not gonna.
Oh, because of the MS specific.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do it because I know in my mind, first of all, I have a disease that's autoimmune. My immune system is eating my nervous system for breakfast. I'm not taking no vaccine that's gonna fuck with my immune system. And I'm not gonna get the disease either because I haven't been sick since I was like fucking 23 years old. And that's the glory of MS.
But you like
You don't get
she was
sick
just doing it as a
with
medical
MS this
professional, but
hard.
you weren't required to do it by a job or anything. Like so
No,
you had
not
the
at
option to
all.
not do it.
No, like that. But I was definitely discriminated against from my friends, from fucking just people all in general. Like, and if I didn't want to wear the
I
mask,
remember that. That's one of the things that started to turn me off of that crowd is how they were treating the people that had hesitance or resistance against the vaccine or just flat out didn't want to get it.
exactly.
They were making it a moral issue, more of a moral issue than I think it was, and wasn't taking the time to understand the individual stories behind their concerns.
I would forgive those motherfucking not friends of mine anymore, but they think they're my friends still. But they just don't fucking they don't even like come close to apologizing for giving me shit.
Yeah, they may not. They may not even realize. Like that's what happened. If the friendship's over, the relationship's over. You're not going to get resolution from it at this point.
Yeah, there isn't that there's no resolution for like broken relationships, like friendships. It's just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Glad I never had a girlfriend through all that. Or I haven't had a girlfriend since, well, I messed around with a girl in 2015. That was a long time ago.
Oh my God, that's more recent than me.
Yeah, I didn't really mess around with her like I'd like to because MS has really not been friendly to me, if you know what I mean. I mean, like,
Mhm.
I could bang a girl with some Viagra, but it feels like
Oh,
my
with the MS.
it feels like I'm banging her with a dildo because I can't really feel it. It's like, I mean, like, maybe if she was a good beat off queen, that would get me going. If she knew how to handle a dick and like.
Okay, I just want to I want to make a point here for the viewers and the audience and the crowd out there that nobody's like
I'm sorry.
what's his name, Stephen King Stephen, and the stuff he says that people get all up in arms about. I haven't heard anything from him yet, even approaching this, and nobody's coming after Busker for any of it. So I just want to put. I have an eye for these little discrepancies in how people are treated, partly because I've spent most of my life as that person being treated. So I just want to note this for the stream, and
Yeah.
do continue on with your story.
As
I
far as
think.
I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter to me anyway.
Okay, whew, good. I'll take it. I'll
Fucking
take that.
I
the shit's hit the fan for me, and it's only gonna like. But I'm having hope in this. What's it called again? Lysine.
lysine.
Lysine. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
it has
I
to
want
be
to
a
try
floor
that out.
fan from what we've learned so far on this stream, though.
So
Just to do a little callback,
what was your
and then
what did you say? I'm sorry to interrupt. What did you say again about the that you found there was some kind of results with people with MS?
oh yeah,
And,
just that. Well, when it comes to if there is the correlation, and the correlation is causation, which I don't want to say too many words because we've talked a lot about medicine. What I'm
This
trying to
is the
say is that
entertainment channel.
yes, exactly. It could, um, it, basically the myelinated sheath deterioration
oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
can be, it can help with that, help to the point of
And
Oh my God,
potentially
Busker,
stalling.
check with your
I
prescriber too. Just shoot him a little note and say, "Hey, what do you think
I'd,
about L-lysine?"
I'd cut off my dick for some myelin. Myelin sheath.
Okay,
Some
I've got
myelinated
some.
sheath.
that might be one of our. That might be a
I
T-shirt. Let me write that down.
I had a song in one of the lyrics was my mind is scattered with cigarette burns, and it was it was about some chick, some fucking sappy song I wrote about her. But I was like writing it up like that was in reference to my MS with the myelin uh, orbs from the old school fucking MRIs. They come with slides. Like now they got it all on fucking in a file. Like you can like look at it like inside and out, man. It's fucking it's kind of scary to look at my brain because there's some lobage missing. That's what it looks like with the highlighting on it. You know.
Well, I'll tell
So,
you with the I know they never get pictures. Typically, they don't always have pictures of us before we have these. It's not like we run around getting pictures taken of things when we're well. So I was just thinking about watching that video with you playing the accordion. You played so like that instrument's like one with you. Your fingers are moving so fast, right?
yeah,
You can.
thank you,
It's like
dude.
it's like
Uh,
my stepmom used to know a secretary that could type the dictation. She could listen to the dictation in her ear and type the dictation and read a book while she was doing that.
wow. Yeah, that's like
And
multitasking
so,
central, man. That's awesome.
yeah, so you can see how rote it is for your body to be doing that with your dad, just playing the music. Like you're not even thinking, you know what I mean? Like you could just see the body doing its thing, feeling the music.
Yeah,
Um, well,
it really, that was the thing. That was the only thing that made me feel like I was really living, was like just waiting for the spring or the fall. Because I don't like the summer and I don't like the winter, but I definitely don't like the summer. So I have to have the air conditioners in, all that shit. That's all whatever. But I used to love to go look forward for fucking weekends to go down there. And we would sometimes go Friday night, Saturday night, and maybe not Sunday, but sometimes we'd do a Sunday here and there. People loved us down there, dude. And I miss
Mhm.
all the people that I knew. They're just gone for good.
So what if that lobe was never there?
The what?
I said you were
Yeah.
taking pictures of the bird.
Yeah,
I said, what
like
if that lobe was never there? How do you know it was ever there?
Well, it looks like it looked to me. I mean, I can't really read an MRI like brain scan, but he showed me like the inside
But
and out. He said,
but something's
Jim,
missing is what you'd say. Something's changed.
well, my first uh neurologist from this place that I go to now, I dig him. He's cool, and he's like, your brain's shrinking, Jim. You want to see it? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And I looked at it, and I'm just like, and he's showing me that, yeah, there's lobage missing. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's more physical than mental, although I do have some mental issues, but not like some people can. I don't have problems talking. I don't have problems swallowing, thank God. And breathing and shit. I don't have problems breathing. And I still smoke cigarettes like a dumbass. That-
I'm a chain smoker
with
myself.
no hands.
I'm
I
not
wanted to
a
say,
chain
Jeff, I
smoker
was
anymore, but I used to be a chain smoker. I can't do that. I can
I
maybe
was
do a quarter pack a day. That's all I can do now.
well, that's good. That's better. I was gonna say, Jeff, when I think about the people, well, first of all, I wanted to say, watching what's gone on here more closely over the last few days, because I haven't always watched all your streams, right? But I've watched more than
Uh,
more than
and
I've ever said hello in, or
I meant to tell you too.
I
You
think
mentioned the other day about the monologuing, and the reason I don't do it now is because I have so many videos when I was first starting the channel when it was just me monologuing for like hours. So there are some.
I'm gonna go.
There's plenty of me monologuing. If you do like that genre.
Cool. I will. I'm gonna go watch some. Thank you. I was gonna say though, I think first of all, we overestimate the we overestimate the abilities of neurotypicals to read social cues. They
Overestimate.
don't read social cues. Yeah, yeah. They don't read social cues nearly as well as we might give them credit for.
They
Does
seem
that make
to, at
sense? They
least with
have their
each other.
traits.
If it's already the
Yeah.
built-in code,
Yeah, and
they
there
seem
is some
better
there's
at it.
definitely some like the some, and I do understand when when we see these patterns of like sarcasm or humor or the nuances of when people aren't being straightforward,
Is
and
that
they're actually
is that social
but
cues?
what
Is
I
that what social cues? I mean, I don't
I don't
really,
know because I don't see them.
I don't know what that really
I
Like I
means.
think
guess if
that
somebody's
I
yawning
think
while I'm talking with their mouth wide open, I might think, oh, maybe they're not interested in what I'm saying. But outside of something that obvious, that's not true. I
well,
do see some of them. I don't decode them, but they don't mean anything. I see somebody's face change, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't change the conversation for me. But people that know how to read it, it will
I see
mean
what you're
something,
saying.
and then they'll adjust what they're saying or doing in response. I just keep going.
Yeah, although I don't know that they pay as close attention as a neurodivergent person might. So some of it's just natural to them, but they also can ignore so much of that, right? Like they're just not paying attention. So they might,
Dude,
but
fucking, I
then
must
so
be
if I'm not being as,
neurodivergent. I pay attention to
You might
shit
be.
like a
then I was gonna say
motherfucker.
too that because I'm not trying to put like the whole world on a spectrum, but we would all, if our brains should be
I
different.
think that
You know what I mean? We're
spectrum's
all
wider
Dude,
than people think.
it's not
yeah.
bad as far as I'm concerned. Like the things that people might think are bad, and I might act bad because I've got it. They they can fuck themselves if they don't like me. If they don't like me, they're not my friends. They're not, and my family, at least my family sticks by me, right? That's all that really matters.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I was
What were
going to
you
say,
saying,
and then the
Bex?
other thing I would say, I just want to say the other thing, because I've heard you over on TMLs once talking about the difference in learning styles, and I assume that as a child in school, you it sounds like you had some exceptions made, or you went to a good school, or you've just studied
No,
this to
no,
know.
no,
No?
no.
I no, I did.
No,
Yeah.
I went to public
Yeah.
school and I took clarinet.
Yeah.
And I
Oh, well,
faked it. I didn't know how to read music. I
I-
didn't know what the fuck I was
you talking
doing.
about like band? You were a band kid?
Yeah, I was in
Oh.
band, and so
Y'all were the nerd. Y'all were even nerdier than me.
well, it was just like a regular public
Band camp.
school.
One time in band camp.
It wasn't band camp. It was just band. Like that's what they called it anyway. And you remember back in school. And yeah, so like I faked playing it, and I didn't pick up anything till I was about 11. And I tried to play the guitar, and I played upside down because my dad had a right-hand guitar, and I knew I was left-handed. So I thought, shit, well, I gotta figure this out upside down. So that's how I figured it out. At first, I figured out chords like bar chords upside down, and then I fucking got a left-handed guitar, and like, holy shit, yeah. And when I got an accordion, I fucking did the same goddamn thing. I was pumping the bellows with my right hand, and I had it upside down, and I could play green sleeves on a piano accordion upside down back in the day. Fucking, I didn't know how to read music. I
Impressive.
didn't know shit about
So did
shit.
you get a left-handed? You got a left-handed
Oh
accordion
yeah. Oh
eventually?
man, like it was this
Nice.
Italian, the president. Well, I guess he's the president. You'd call him, I guess, of the Accordion Club of Maryland. He's like, you're playing good, Jim, but you got to turn it right side up.
Turn your accordion around.
Yeah, turn your accordion right side up
You can
and
make a
learn.
song out of it.
Yeah, like
Turn
fucking
this accordion around.
and like yeah, man, I can't even imagine trying to play upside down at this point. And I even with a Cajun accordion, I was trying to muck around with the buttons upside down, but I could only kind of get some Zydeco chords going, but that was all I could really do.
Chuck, you were in the chess club and the golf school. You were in all that. You are a smart hillbilly. Probably the smartest hillbilly of your what do they call it? Holler clan.
Holler.
Yeah, I don't know why people think Chuck is ignorant. That's such a stereotype.
Here's what I wanted to. Well,
Oh yeah, I
and
want to hear.
here's
I want to
the-
finish hear about the
didn't-
neurodivergence. Or what
Well,
you were
yeah, I
saying?
wanted to say, I think first of all, the group can agree on an idea of how they've taken a social cue and run with it, especially on YouTube. I'm not being passive aggressive in that. I just do think that because a group agrees with things, you already know this, like just in general in life, but I think that even more online, the nuances can be lost on them, and they can run with a perception that the majority have. That being said, I think that more of those neurotypicals should really watch how you communicate and understand that there is nothing incapacitated or there's nothing about you that's a shortcoming. I'm not saying you don't have shortcomings, but I'm going to say when it comes to your communication, there's no shortcomings.
Depends on who
like
you
not when
ask.
it comes.
Because there's some people
Now,
that
I might be
find many shortcomings. That's one thing I've been told over and over,
Yeah,
especially moving up here. My communication difficulties. In fact,
interesting.
when I broke up with the ex, he made a little comment. He said, "I'll be surprised if you don't have these same communication difficulties when you leave here." And at the time, I didn't know what he was talking about because I thought it was just him. I'd never met anybody like him before. And then when I started making my way in Seattle, I was having the same exact kind, and the people were remarking on it. So I know it was something cultural. So
Got it.
among the right people, the difficulties do show up.
Mm. And maybe it is like, I don't know if you sensed it or if you know, I've always felt that the neurodivergent radar, especially with autism, especially with giftedness and autism together, that is that's stronger than gaydar, or as strong. I'm not, you know, so you could tell me which one's stronger. You know,
I don't know. I'm both. I
but
have them
that
both pretty well. But it's
yeah.
like it
So
I got
it
gaydar.
exaggerates something. Like some of the things we pick up are we get magnified, and then others we hardly pick up at all. So the range of what comes to us is different than what I'm assuming a neurotypicals is. So like I'll pick up more things that they won't necessarily pick up on, but then I won't pick up on really obvious things that a lot of them will. So the like pattern
I
is
hear that.
different.
I hear that. Yeah, it's I know for myself, for such a, you know, I'm well, I don't want to use the anyways. Yeah, for someone who's so bright, I can be really daft. Really daft, especially it can take me a while to pick, you know, if I'm missing something, I'm missing it big time.
And then
You
you
know,
don't ever
like
know. You don't even
when
know
I
what you you don't even know there's something to miss until there's some reason
yes.
in the conversation to like you don't. I don't never know what I'm missing because I don't even know it's out there to miss. Everyone else is picking up on it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think some of the people around you that come in here and start, you know, trying to manage things, especially like in chat, I saw today, just like, you know, what some people just would not let up. And it's unfortunate because,
That was the
you know
only
me, I'm a
drama. That's
fan.
it was projected. The only
Well, and
drama was that happened. All day
I'm
was in the
such a,
chat of them complaining about drama.
yeah. Well, and they were exactly. And the interesting thing is, you know, it was, I've had, I'm sure over 100 hours now of amazing conversations with Stephen, period. That's never going to change. And I enjoy his content, period. I've been a fan since long before I started paneling or being, you know, having my own channel. So I know I've watched his content long enough to know, you know, to know his, like, he's a strong critic, you know, and understand his model to the best of my ability. That being said, you know, it's interesting when I suffer from the same affliction out here when, you know, people don't even want to listen because I'm there, right? So I thought it was unfortunate to see some people, you know, not trust the room, you know, because it really was a great conversation. I strongly encourage and have encouraged Stephen to have more conversations with you. And
We're doing it tomorrow
and
night.
like I said, you know, yeah, I look forward to it. Oh, tomorrow night or
Oh
Thursday?
yeah, tomorrow's Thursday.
No,
I
I'm
guess, yeah,
sorry.
it's
Well,
Wednesday now.
it's
So yeah,
technically Wednesday for me here.
it
So
is Wednesday.
tomorrow
Yeah,
night, Thursday night.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, so I look forward to more of that. And I hope that they can spend more time listening to what's going on than worrying about trying to convince you something. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's my
just
hope
for the
too.
sake of the exercise. Yeah, yeah. And I think that they will. You know, you've created a really great room here, and you know, it's you, like you said before, it's been through all sorts of different you know, different scenarios and survived. And I just think that I really look forward to the conversations that you guys have together, and, you know, the adjustment as these people maybe, I have a feeling this may be the room where some of those people can put down those blinders of preconceived notions of someone, or even start to see some of the similarities more. I hope that they'll see the similarities, because I saw you draw likeness today, and I see you quite often show people examples. I don't know the specific examples you're talking about, but I know that your audience does, you know, or your panel does, right? So yeah, it's just it's
Yeah, this
interesting.
is the love space.
I feel like I had a lot more people come in and tell me how to manage my panel, because I let people know that I was autistic, right? Like,
That's what I was
feel like,
wondering. In the back of all this,
yeah.
I'm thinking, is this because is neurodivergence at play here at all with people sensing some kind of vulnerability or naivete or inexperience that because we get infantilized a lot. They pick up on something about us that they think we need help with things, or they need to come in
Exactly.
and sometimes we do, but like negotiate that with us. Don't just assume and step in and start doing.
Hey Jeff,
And so part of it was like, I wonder if this would if this would happen on a neurotypical panel. Is there something about the neurodivergence that people feel like
They
comfortable
definitely do
doing
like to
this?
tell each other what to do, but I don't. And some people can be pushy, but I do feel en masse, en masse, that desire to help or care for, coupled with the sort of the way that this app can have everybody have different motivations than they might in reality. In the simulation, people can be a little bit more tactical or manipulative. Not that I'm accusing anyone
Oh, I
of
didn't
that.
think about that.
So the app itself actually has amplified behaviors of people in a more disingenuous way. And I'm not saying that any of the people coming in here to take care of you are doing that. If anything, they're actually saying, hey, we want to protect you from that, but in essence, they're doing.
I appreciate. I guess I appreciate it, but also it's kind of like they do with like the woke do with the black people. They need our help. They're victims. They need us to come in. It's that I mean I appreciate the sentiment behind it, but there's a little something about it that seems condescending or patronizing.
yes, exactly.
Chuck, I don't blame you at all. You would be well within your rights. He went after your kid
Yes.
today, your family.
Hey,
I still
Jeff,
think that they bantered very well and maintained the panel very well.
I do too.
And
Despite
like I
all of
said,
that, I
yeah,
think you
yeah,
you were both exemplary models of how
yeah,
communication can happen
yeah.
between adults who
Jeff,
don't necessarily agree or even like each other.
can I ask when you were in the 80s, is that when you got diagnosed with conditions like the what's it called? You
The
just
autism?
autism, yes.
No, they weren't looking for that at all in my generation. That happened
Yeah,
in the
that,
90s. Really, is when it started. But what I was diagnosed at very early was giftedness, and that's where it showed up. And so I thought all of that was a form of giftedness. And
I
so
had
any kind of weirdness, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's the giftedness, and I have all these little special classes and programs for that, so I'm fine. And that's
I,
all I needed at the time.
I had some gifts. They were like they were hiding inside of me. But like back then, I had these. They called it ADHD. My
Yeah.
mom threw me from one counselor to another, and
Yep.
they put me on
Same
kinds
here.
of drugs and shit. And like I
Were
went
you
over.
in special ed? Did they diagnose it at
Oh
school?
yeah, they put me in special ed and fucking. I mean, there were some people that were physically, retarded, and that's cool. That's the way it goes. But like, I felt like I didn't belong in the school at all. I couldn't do math. I didn't fuck around with it. And the thing that I got good at was when I got homeschooled throughout high school, because I got expelled from Ridgely Middle
For doing what?
for
For middle school? You were already
yeah,
being expelled?
in 7th grade. I got at the very end of 7th grade. I wanted to go out with a bomb or a bang, but it wasn't a bomb.
Um,
I lit the paper towel dispenser in the bathroom on fire.
yeah, okay, I can understand. Yeah.
I was trying to get attention because I didn't have any friends at all. I mean, like people.
What kind of friends did you think would be drawn
Nobody
to that
liked me,
kind? Like,
dude.
what kind of friends did you think you would end up with from burning the?
No, I didn't think about that. I just thought
Oh.
I could get attention. Like people would.
Jack is absolutely right here. I want to point this out. Men, even in my generation, we are stigmatized, demonized, criminalized in some cases, pathologized. People who are not males do not understand male energy, and that's a problem for us. So
Well,
go
either
ahead,
way,
Busker.
I mean,
About
like, yeah, I got expelled. My mom's like, well, like they said I could come back after like they talked with my parents and my counselor I was seeing talk with them. And my mom was like, no, no, I'm gonna homeschool him. So all through high school and the end of middle school, my 8th grade, then all through high school, I was homeschooled. And I did really great with reading, but my mom helped me squeak by with math because I still hated the fuck out of it.
Hmm.
But I was very articulate with reading and writing and shit. So like that's what I was sticking to, and also the music. Like when I was 11, I picked up the guitar and fucking never looked back.
yeah,
That's
there was something in you that was finding your own way.
exactly, and I think a lot of that ties into the neurodivergent kind of shit I've got. I must be autistic, and that was never diagnosed with that because back then, like you said, they didn't diagnose people with that shit. I think I'm autistic because of
Yeah,
the
it's
way I
very
act.
possible.
In fact,
ADHD.
I was seeing a girl for a little while that she was like, "Well, I can't deal with autistic shit," and I'm just like, "What are you talking about?" And now I understand what she's
So
talking
not
about.
even thinking you were autistic, you still had a reaction to her saying that.
Well, I just kind of was like, I don't even know what you mean. I mean,
But it
and
was
later,
something she was picking up on, maybe.
yeah, and later on in life, I figured it like, yeah, I think I probably do have autism because I have like so many of the same shirt. And the reason I do is because I smoke
I
cigarettes
love that.
and I burn holes in the shirts. I have I don't know, so many propaganda T-shirts from Lift the Veil. Dude, like he's my good friend, I believe. I mean, we've talked in the
When
past.
I find a shirt that I like, I'll buy 2 of the same color in all the colors I can find. Like,
Oh,
I mean, like that.
so
That's
yeah, I
in
really
a
do.
way.
I'm like, I used to just buy 1 of each color, and then I was like, nah, I really like this shirt. It's gonna fade. And then
I
yeah,
also
now
have
it's
like what
fading.
Chris has.
that
Like
sounds smart.
he does. It's not a problem, but he has an obsession with collecting shit like instruments, and that's
Hoarding.
he had so many guitars.
That's one way. Collecting shit is one way to put it.
Oh yeah, the hoarding. I'm hoarding accordions. Hoarding accordions.
But like you hoard specific things, right? To me, that's collecting. If you have a room full of accordions, that's not hoarding. That's an accordion collection. If you hoard everything, like you have a room full of,
Well, I mean, like when it comes to like parts for accordions and reeds and shit, I hoard all that stuff, and I
but it's
should.
all accordion related.
Yeah, it's all, and then there's
It's not
junk
like
and
looking
there's
like you're trying to open up a chain of garage sales.
like it. I used to be more cleanly of this house when I could do shit, move around and do stuff, and I can't really do that anymore.
Yeah,
Supposed to be getting help from the government, and I'm waiting and waiting and
like
waiting.
they're gonna send a person.
Yeah, there's
to you.
somebody's gonna come by and help out and take my trash out on Wednesday or Sunday.
The Mormons will do that for you. I hear. I'm
Ah,
serious.
there you go.
Don't they come and do chores for you on the weekends?
Oh shit.
I thought they did on their bicycles.
Well, I've never heard of the Mormons doing anything, my friend.
Isn't there anybody
Yeah,
Mormon
that
in
was
the? I thought that one of their strategies was like they show up to old ladies' houses or something with their Bibles on the bicycle, and they try to talk to them about
Oh,
Jesus in the yard and
the
the
Mormon
planets,
missionaries.
and
Yeah,
then one of the things they'll do is they'll offer to do things for them, like as a way to kind of build rapport and
I think
trust with.
the one
well,
thing
and
I'm thinking
actually,
about. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna
no,
say
you go ahead, please. Go ahead, be more.
the one thing I'm thinking about. Very now that I think about it, my mind is racing about it. That do I want a male person walking around my house and cleaning it up or a female. But I'm not concerned about the downstairs, but the upstairs. I mean, I've gotten rid of the smell of pee anywhere there was because I got this stuff. It's meant for pet odors in the spray, and it's like this enzyme. It totally takes it away for human beings. It almost did. It did a kind of a good job for El Guapo, but he had the worst smelling goddamn piss. Oh man, it smelled like the worse than ammonia. It was
Bex,
awful.
what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say the interesting thing about the Mormon missionaries, when they go to do their service, first of all, only men would come to clean for men, and only girls would come.
I
to
would
clean
call
for
men
girls.
yet, but yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah, boys. Yes, you're right.
I don't mind dudes coming
And
up to help me,
they
but like,
yeah.
yeah,
So the
but
more getting the
downstairs, I
Wait, I want to hear about the Mormon boys. Go ahead.
well,
was
yeah.
just
I just
sorry.
wanted to say that when they're doing their missionary work, they're actually their acts of service. It's changed with the advent of the internet. They in that year before the internet, in that year of service, when they go somewhere else to do that, that's all they do. They're given a small stipend by the church. They're given a free place to stay, and they are basically expected to feed themselves through their missionary work. So
So
they
it's
don't
not
have
just like church members that are volunteering on a weekend or something. This is a full-time commitment
it's a
that they have to feed
it is a
themselves
full-time
from.
commitment. Well, and I
My
don't even know.
God.
I would imagine the acts of service. I served. I used to sit with two of. I met two Mormon missionary girls that I really enjoyed. One of them was 28 years old, which is quite a lot older than. She'd gone back to Mormonism, essentially, a lot older than people doing their mission. And I had a crush on a Mormon man at the time, so I'd met them at a Mormon barbecue. And he
Wow.
didn't have a crush on me, so but he of course wanted to introduce me to his church. And I like to study religion. I know a lot about the Mormon faith. I knew a lot about it before that already, and there's a lot of really interesting things about it.
Hey, Bex, do you know if there's any,
yeah.
do you know if there's any Baltimoreans around? I don't know if there's any Mormons in Baltimore.
Mormons.
That could be your
I
new.
love it.
I
your
need
new
some
I'm the
identity.
kind of
Mormons.
person, though, I do drive by the Mormons and honk at them. Actually, that's the Jehovah Witnesses over
Yeah,
at
the
the
Jehovah Witness, they're the
grocery
ones that
store.
knock on my
And I tell
door.
them, I always roll down my window and say, "Keep up the good work."
Jehovah Witness,
Just because they get so much crap, right?
Did you get to see the
So
underwear? Find like the guy you were dating?
the
Did you?
special, I know. No, I wish. No, he actually, we were friends, and I had a crush on him. But I also we worked for the same employer, so I was a landlord and he was a stonemason, doing a bunch of capping on the roof and stuff
Sounds
of
like a movie.
our old buildings. So yeah, I had seen him shirtless, although he's supposed to be in a tank top.
Did it get you wet?
Oh, heaven forbid. But I learned about the blessed underwear from him, undergarments. They're blessed in the temple and everything. It's not just any underwear.
That's just weird
It's
that a
blessed
religion
underwear.
would develop underwear.
They
There would be like a
bless their
religious reason
underwear?
to do something with the underwear.
It's their armor of God, and they actually there's stories that they tell where their special underwear kept them safe from bullets and everything.
What?
So
Magical panties.
They bless their undergarments.
exactly.
They bless their undergarments.
That's way better than granny panties.
Now, what if they're dirty? What if they're dirty or something? What if you got like a little boy who can't like clean his ass and he's poopy streaks on his underwear? Can it still be blessed?
Look,
Or is
we
it only
don't
for
shame
adults?
people. We
No,
don't
but I
shame
am
people
wondering
for
how to get a
skid
few on
marks.
this stream because I'm fascinated with this. I want to hear more about their
I'm
their
sorry.
life
I've
path.
never heard of this. That is very new to me. I've never heard of that.
I'm into men and dad, not boy. I'm looking for anybody to raise. I'm looking for a daddy of my own. so they're safe.
I ain't looking for nobody at this point. My sexuality, I just don't feel anything towards anybody. I don't
Do you
ever.
still get fantasy or like erotic?
Well, kind of. Well, yeah, in a way, but it's just like a echo of the past. Like when it comes to me, and I talk
It's like, why even bother getting excited?
like I don't want to. I just let out too much information because I don't care. I'm an open fucking book. I'll talk about.
I can tell you're one of the most open book. All kind of things fall out.
Yeah, dude, I don't fucking. I don't. I mean, I don't
It's
care.
funny.
Like, and it's like, it's probably inappropriate to a lot of people too. But you know what? I don't. At this point, I don't care anymore.
Well, that's their problem. That's their business. I
Yeah,
kind of keep it on my channel, and outside of that,
then whenever I had thoughts about things, I just barf it out on the Facebook and like that, like any social media that I'm involved with, I just barf it out, whether it's through music or through my mouth or through typing my fingers, like
that could be spurging.
Yes, I do
data
spurg like a motherfucker, and like
Chris does that too. He just like releases his brain out on stream. It's just like a fire hose of brain.
I like if I drink too much, then that's the only time I really spurg is if I drink too much. But I do spurg with my mother. I mean, fucking shit.
Well, that's what moms are for.
Oh
She
my
probably learned to
God.
tune you out and ignore you by now.
Oh my God, dude. She really drives me up the
That's
wall.
an interesting segue to an observation that I've made between the conversation that he was having, that Hank was having with Stephen at the end of his stream yesterday. That I'd like to share about moms and
Oh, please
spurging and
do.
stuff.
I found that quite illuminating myself.
Well, when Hank said, I don't understand why I have to get, I'm going to paraphrase here, a PhD and become an expert in 4 different things when any teenager can do what I need to get all these, all these degrees, to do, right? When he was talking about having a relationship or having relations with a woman,
Well, he's just.
I was watching. So just let me finish here. So I was watching that and I was thinking, no, it's okay. No, I didn't mean to. I was watching that thinking that I've had that same plight in my family. That I have had. There's nothing I can do to be seen as not an infant.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
do know.
nothing.
Very much know.
And so to just be treated like an equal, I have 7 siblings and 4 parents. I'm 52 years old. And I'm, like Flo said on the thing, well, you're either super neurodivergent or a really good actress. Right? And
Flo's
I'm like,
suspicious of
well,
everybody.
I know.
He's suspicious of his own self.
I know, but I'm just saying, but when he said that, I was like, I know, right? That's the summary of a neurotypical person's as my family's.
Even though he's not himself, right? He's on the spectrum himself, but.
And so I just thought it was really interesting because I could really feel, I really identified with what, I applied that in my own life and identified with that plight because, my family would be, I am, I was socialized to show emotion. You know what I mean? Like I am.
Well, okay, wait. Let me. I'm interested in that. Let me. So would you? To me, emotion is innate. Do you think you would not have shown emotion if you were not socialized into it? Would it have happened naturally anyway?
But I think that people see girls as no. I think good question. I would say what I mean by that is I think people see emotions as infancy, and because girls are given the grace to not emotionally mature and call it femininity, and men and boys are told to not show emotions and call it rationality. when they're actually suppressing their emotions, everybody's emotionally immature. No,
And
and we're supposed to
emotional
work system.
maturity is not a constant. It's very fluid. It varies by situation. It varies by person. So a very
Yeah.
incredibly emotionally mature person can have an emotional mature moment that's identical to somebody with a very low level of at any time.
Yes, and we are humans, so emotions are not supposed to be squashed by rationality, but as we
Yeah.
emotionally mature, we are able to perform those emotions like performing on an exam. Like do them to the best of your ability, minimal
Yeah.
harm to yourself and someone else, but getting angry is not a negative,
Right.
right? Feeling moved and crying is not weakness, and so when I think about with me when I was younger, and I'm from the same generation, so the only diagnosis I ever had was gifted, and it wasn't like I did anything special was done for me, right?
Did they have school programs?
Nah, just some AP, but I was very gifted. Like I was, I won. Yeah,
Did you
I'm
have
not saying like I was
peers? Were
top of
there
the class.
other kids like yourself around that you could at least get the
There
mirroring from?
were other. I would say there were other people that got grades like I got. But I don't know. So they were on the gifted spectrum, but I don't know because of all the other, because I have all the qualifications. I don't know that there were really any peers. I don't know. I don't think looking back and trying to analyze the other intelligent people I was with, I wouldn't say any of them were autistic or necessarily ADHD typically. And I was like doing like university. I did a math contest in grade 7 where 3 children in Canada got, it was a Gauss competition. And it's university level problem solving. And in grade 7, and 3 people in Canada got 100% on the exam. And 2 of us were in the same school. And they did a news, they talked about, they interviewed us for a newspaper article or on TV or something. I can't recall. But just because it was anomalous that 2 people in the country were in the same
that's
school.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And so the level of giftedness on some fronts was evident. My brother was learning to read. I'm not trying to brag here. I'm not grandstanding. My brother was learning to read. He's 14 months older than me, and he was learning to read A Duck is a Duck, and I was frustrated listening to them. I was probably jealous. He had more attention. I wasn't even in school yet, or I was, in kindergarten. No, it must have been. He must have been. My mom must have been working with him, because I kept by the end of the third night, I'd already memorized what he was reading, and when I said, oh, well, I started parroting what the book was. And my brother was like, you just memorize it. Nah, nah, nah. He said, you can't read. And my mom tells a story of me saying, yes, I can. And I go and I grabbed the newspaper and I brought it over and read to my mom from the newspaper at 4 years old.
Oh, yeah, 4 seems late.
Yeah, were you reading earlier
I don't
than that?
remember learning how to read. I have always known how to read. I was probably reading before I was speaking.
Yeah.
Like it just was something that
Well, yeah, and
came
that's
so
where I would
naturally, and
say-
I've always known how to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I would say that I brought it to my mom at 4 years old and showed her I could. I probably
It's
did read much
hyperlexia.
younger. I just didn't do it with books, if that makes sense. I was reading whatever was around me, or because in order to bring it over and just hand her the newspaper and start reading it, I must have been reading something.
Right.
I just
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
remember.
Yeah. Exactly.
But my parents weren't aware of my ability to read until that moment.
Because reading's all about pattern recognition anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the giftedness
Was your
there,
brother socialized with the emotions the same way? Was there a gender difference there?
I don't recall. My older brother's a bit of a psychopath.
Oh, okay.
And I mean that, I just mean that, yeah, I just mean, and I don't mean to paint him out like he would ever harm anybody. I might be over exaggerating, but he's definitely a very self-focused, Yeah, not my family's not a very family focused group of people in the first place. So, I'm sure we're all a bit different. My dad is definitely on the spectrum, so socialization isn't very big in my family, even though we're a very big family. I have 7 siblings.
You
So
were
I think
talking
some of
about how
the
your like your natural emotions were through your socialization were like conditioned, I guess, to express in a certain way.
well, I just assume that you're not expected to not be emotional, right? As a
I don't
child,
come
as a
from a
growing up.
culture that stigmatizes We're very emotional. We very free flowing emotion. We laugh, we cry, we yell, we fight, and nobody ever acted like emotion was anything other than a normal, natural thing that we just let happen.
I love that. And so whether someone's neurotypical or neurodivergent, both people are
Yeah, none
express
of it's tied
emotion.
to emotion. Like we have like
Yeah.
with giftedness and neurodivergence, you can have more intensity of emotion or higher levels of emotional excitability, but the state of being emotional to me is universal. I don't think
Yes.
they're that
Sorry.
different in from one neurotype to another, other than like intensity, maybe duration, maybe level of reactivity.
Mhm. Yeah. I was going to say so that, when I was expressing strong emotions, like I know that when my family sent me for my first, not sent me, but the first time I ever went to sort of uh, get anything diagnosed, when I came back with a diagnosis of ADHD, um, uh, my family was like looking for a depressive diagnosis. So they basically they said I tricked the doctor, right?
So
It's
they
just
had
so
already
strange that,
had an idea of what was wrong with you before they took you in,
well,
and they
I
were
mean,
just looking for confirmation.
I was a grown adult at this point. I was 28 years old when I got
Oh, I
my,
thought this was kid, like when you were a kid.
yeah. Well, I know I explained it. Like now it sounds like I've been crying since, but I have. I mean, I'm known out here for getting moved, right? So, and then that's seen as manipulative, right? When I'm just moved, I don't mean I'm moved. I've learned not to cry because I'm in an argument with somebody, but I also on my own channel, I'll tell stories and I'll get moved, right? Telling the story, or you and I could be having a heart to heart and I might be like, just a second, and I'll mic up, right?
Yeah,
Because I'm going to get
that's
moved.
so normal
And
to me. Like I can't imagine human beings would think that there's anything weird about that, but some of them do.
they really do. And out here, it's really like they're in their feelers. They're in their feelers. It's like we laugh together every day. Okay. Out here in these streets, so much laughter. Why would people expect that they can laugh together and not cry together or get angry together? Or why would we think that we can have communications, 9, 10 people, strangers on a panel, not have disagreements? And the fact that those disagreements would explode the way they do or form instant opinions, it's just it's so counter to real relations, you know at least I hope it is. I hope
Yeah,
people
I
out
think
there
so
aren't
too.
ghosting each other just because they had a disagreement, blocking each other just because they said one thing they don't like, um but yeah, it's so I probably didn't tell that in the right linear, because now it sounds like I was like crying and screaming till I was like 28 or whatever, which wasn't the case. I was here, like, but it's like those family dynamics that I'd already moved away, many years prior. So those family dynamics that can bring up raw issues, right? Like, so never was I went for the sake of trying to communicate better with my family, was the only reason I went to get a diagnosis, right? And so when I got the diagnosis, you've got all these like people that are, basically quite intelligent as well, saying that, oh no, obviously you're smarter than the doctor and you gamed them. So it's funny. That's where I'm saying that these, it's catch 22. if I'd never gone, I would still be called, like, I would still be infantized. But even if I go and get the diagnoses, my family's like, we don't believe it.
Yeah.
Right? You're like,
It sounds
it's
like
crazy,
you were maybe in the scapegoat role very early in the family dynamics, like with the family systems.
Yes. Yeah. For
Yeah,
certain.
same here.
That's why when you said scapegoat, when you said scapegoat ritual, when you were talking about that and something else, there was something else you'd said, tribe something, tribal something. I thought it was tribe something. I'd have to go back and listen to the live stream.
Tribe, or maybe the
And-
triangle, the drama triangle.
Oh yes,
I talk about that a lot too, because that and the scapegoat ritual to me are very similar.
Yes, I'd love to talk more about those one time, or at least,
Oh yeah, I've done a whole podcast of it. That's the primary dynamic that plays out in my life that I set off.
I stepped out. I had to get some ensure complete good shit.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Routine, you got it. Stuff.
But I know we could talk for a long time, and I'm sure it's getting to be like 3:30.
Yeah, I do. If I'm gonna do a stream later today, I should recharge.
Yeah, and I've got I was so excited to. I mean, I was just about to go to bed, but I was excited. I just finished listening to your live, and I thought, oh, I'll pop up and I'll just say hi quickly. Right. And then but I'll be listening. If I'm not here live, I'll listen to them after the fact. I'll be listening to you guys on Thursday. I start a part-time job on Friday, and I have to spend the next couple of days getting ready for that, going and buying some new clothes and new shoes and getting my car insured and stuff like that. So I won't be as much in chat. Yeah, it's exciting. It's catering for Indian food, Indian restaurant.
Oh, that sounds great.
I've done.
Oh,
yeah, I've worked with them in other summers, but it's beautiful. It's the weddings are amazing. The families and their saris and their matching saris.
Oh, so it's like for Indian weddings and events.
Yeah, I've got about. I looked. I think I've got about 25 events booked for the summer.
Dang.
Do you make chicken tikka masala? Chicken tikka masala?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh.
When is Holi? Yeah. When is that color festival?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Yeah,
Holi, is it called?
I think it's Holi. Holi. Let's see. Spring.
Well, if you're ever invited to a Sikh wedding,
March 25th, so it's already happened. Go to a Sikh wedding.
They party hard. It's like walking straight into a nightclub.
Up there.
Okay. It really is. Like, it is loud. I've nothing louder than a Sikh wedding. I'm sure of it. The party after, it's like
that keeps them together. Probably we don't have one half to do.
Well, yeah, and I would say the neat thing about it is a lot of people often come from afar, or like here in Canada, you can become a citizen and not speak English. So the elders, the aunties and uncles, it's all sign language anyway, right? Like you can't hear anything. So, you just politely say, auntie, something to drink, you're clearing the dishes, like auntie, uncle. And there, you don't have to worry about anything because there's absolutely no talking to be had.
Do you have to wear the turban, or only the Sikhs have to wear them?
Only the Sikhs. Yeah, I think.
So they don't where's your turban when you walk in? Are you on the guest list? No. Where's your turban, ma'am?
Yeah.
No, but I have decided.
You on the guest list? Where's your turban, ma'am?
I'm gonna go buy myself some Lululemon and go in very fun, brand new, expensive leisure wear and a lot of gold. I'm gonna wear a lot of gold to the wedding so everyone can see that maybe at 52 I could have found some more professional clothes, but I like clothes that hug me. I don't really care. People are like, you're so body positive. I'm like, no, it's like a weighted blanket.
Oh yes, I get that. I have a weighted blanket. I totally get that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go off and do those things tomorrow and take my earbuds with me and listen as I as I wander around and get my tasks done and leave the house for the first time in 4 years or 6 years. No, I leave every day. But
Is this your first job since COVID though? You're like re-entering the
no, I did a
workforce?
year. I'm the kind of person who likes to bulk work and then take some time off,
Mhm.
save up money and then take some time off. But COVID we were very well taken care of up here and there weren't a lot of jobs. So when I was back, right when that ended, I was back at back at work for a year. And then I left work last July. And because I broke my foot.
Oh
Um,
no.
Yeah, I broke my foot twice last year. So that's how I came to
Twice?
be
While you were at
online.
work?
Yeah.
Did you
No,
break
You couldn't just hop
actually,
around with the
what
meatball
really
dish?
happened? I left my
break
work for
a
foot
bone like a
fatigue.
tarsal, like the metatarsal? What do they
Yeah,
call it?
I broke a bone right above my so I left work in July for foot fatigue. But I wasn't planning on taking more than a couple weeks off. And I slipped on mayonnaise complaining about white sugar.
Oh
Oh
no.
my god.
Yeah, there's someone has a
Too
copy of the stream out there.
rich, too
And
tempting.
broke the bone just above my baby toe,
Oh,
and couldn't be casted or anything. So
I
then just
know.
a few months later in December, actually last year, I stubbed my toe on my modem. I didn't kick it.
Damn.
I just stubbed it and I broke my baby toe.
Yeah,
So
I broke one of, I think the one right next to my baby toe I broke a while back.
yeah.
And there's no
So anyways,
casting
it's all
for
healed up
that.
now.
All right, Bex. Thanks for telling
And
me about
thank
the
you so much, Jeff.
lysine.
What could be whiter than
Yeah.
a Canadian female slipping on
I know.
mayonnaise while talking about
I
white
know.
sugar? Oh,
I
that,
know. And actually complaining about the white sugar that had been put in my
what a
coffee
beautiful
at a fast food
image to
restaurant.
close with.
I know. And when I and when I did tell the story on my channel, we were laughing so hard. I was exactly playing that up. So thank you so much for having me, Jeff. So nice to spend this time with you and Be More Busker and Chris and the chat. I look forward to listening over the next couple of days. You're a gift to us all. Jeff, thanks for having me.
Scared
Bye
for
for
y'all.
now.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and have a good first day back. Busker,
Hey.
it was good hanging out, and
Yeah, good times, my friend.
hopefully I'll be here in a few hours to do it again.
Cool, man. If I'm still awake, I might be. I'll come looking.
Sounds cool. Take
All right.
care. I hope your day goes well.
Thank you. You too, brother. See you later.
Take care. All right, that's another evening stream, and we'll keep on going and see where this goes. Anyway, tomorrow, what time is it? 3, 3, 4, about 8 hours from now, 8.5 hours. You should see us again if you so choose. Until then, take care. See you then.